Hello, welcome to the Hold Down Hootenanny.
I was getting ready to jump in there.
Oh boy, what up, y'all? We're back. We're live.
We're back.
We're doing this dang thing. I don't know what we're doing, but we're doing it. If you guys are tuned in at repliconradio.com, the YouTube stream is back up and running.
Hello, YouTube.
Go check it out. Go peep it. If you're tuned in on YouTube, we need you to do us a favor.
What's that? What's that?
Also available for advertisement. If you would like to advertise and be part of Replicon Radio.
If you don't want to share, you could just comment on the video. That also helps. And like the button. And
Let me say if you're tuned in live, though, share.
Yeah, share it.
Let people know. We want more people to join.
Call your friends. Call your mom. Tell her to tune in.
Call your mom's mom.
Call your man. Call your mom.
They should tell her. Call your mom and tell her you love her. You don't tell her to tune in.
Yeah, well, after you tell her you love her.
Then tell her.
And see how her day is. See if she's doing all right. And then go, hey, check out these assholes on the internet. Yeah.
They got a guest on the show tonight. You should
super awesome guest.
You should head on over there.
That is true.
And I think instead of just, patronizing our listeners.
Isn't that what we do?
Absolutely. But for
like
now,
our
we're
main
gonna stop
shit.
for now. You guys patronize each other in the chat and tell each other to share.
Send super chats.
Yeah, do all that stuff. We're gonna jump on in. We got a special guest on the phone. You guys have been waiting for it since Christmas when she teased you. She gave you a little tease.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's back. Let's just get on into it. Give it up for motherfucking Blahzay Roze.
Hello, everybody.
Hey. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? How's
Doing
everybody?
Good. We're good. I'm good. Are you guys?
Nice to hear your voices again.
Aww.
Yeah, everybody's good. I brought snacks for everyone. So we all got like sugar highs going on.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's pie day, so I brought pie for everyone, and we're celebrating, and we're celebrating Becky on Replicon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
BeckyCon. Welcome to BeckyCon.
Not to be confused with ShakaCon.
ShakaCon. Similar though, they're both artists in their own right.
Oh, I like how you had to add your picture with her to the.
Hell yeah, dude! I put that shit in there. There's a picture of you and me on the internet right now.
Look at that.
What was that? Big Ballers like 2017?
Yep.
Here in St. Louis and Pops.
Yep, that's right. Hell yeah. Well,
Where is it?
It was from Big Ballers at Pops.
Oh.
In South Shade.
I think that was like the first time.
Her performing on tour.
The Christmas one?
Yeah, that's when everybody was in the wrestling ring.
Yep.
We met there, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, there's
all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I ran up to the bar and I jumped up on the bar and I looked over and you were like the first face I saw.
Yep, looking up at you from the bar.
The upskirt.
No, I think it was after.
It was.
Yeah. He
No,
was
it
respectful.
That's funny. Hell yeah.
It was after when I came off stage. I was running around in the crowd, remember?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. No, I remember. The world remembers. Pops
I needed that drink. Needed to have a drink after that. You know?
I feel you. Hell yeah. It's good times. Good motherfucking times.
I was hiding behind him.
But yeah, we're hyped to have you back. I know we had a blast on Christmas, and a lot of people are like, "You guys didn't talk about nothing." I'm like, no, we sure in the hell didn't, but we had a damn good time.
It was fun.
We talked about animals and stuff.
Yeah, we did.
I listened to it after, and we really didn't talk about shit.
No, but it was.
That's okay
fun.
though. Whatever. We talked about stuff to us.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It's weird because normally we do like a lot of times we'll do that backwards. Like the first time we have someone on the show that we've never had on the show before, we like dig deep and we talk about everything, and then when we have them back, it sometimes is a little more lax and we just have fun.
This time we did it backwards.
We're doing it backwards. We had fun. We had fun the first time.
Okay. Yeah, well, I got to get comfortable with you first before you're allowed to dig deep, you know?
Well, I mean, we'll probably talk about it, but obviously you've had some ups and downs in this underground, and there was a lot of point in time where there was, a lot of hate thrown your way. So I could understand, being weary of anyone wanting to speak to you on a public platform. So.
Yeah, well,
But we appreciate that you're hanging out with us because we're like best friends now, so it's cool.
Yeah, no, it's pretty nice. It's funny. I'm actually becoming friends with a lot of people who used to be super big advocates for the hate in the community against me.
Damn, P was a head.
I was never
Very
a hater.
funny that is, you know.
That's good. That's both because people grow up. Yeah, I was never. A hater.
Yeah, no, it is. It's great. It's great. It's really great. There was this one kid that like actively like hated on me, like one of the worst ones. You know, like a lot of the stuff doesn't really get under my skin, but some people say some stuff that does. And he actually had a baby with one of our friends' best friends. One of my best friends, her best friend. He's the baby daddy. And he actually messaged me and apologized about everything.
Huh.
Well, that's
And I thought that was so sweet. I was like, wow, that shows a lot of character, man.
hell yeah.
And now he's like helping with the Trine not fan things, what are the street crews? Street
team?
Yeah.
Promotion?
Yeah.
Promotion.
The street crews?
Street team?
Street team promotion.
Street teams? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes it takes a
fun.
while to self-reflect and realize that you were a douchebag. So,
Yeah.
but
But I think it's dope.
it is cool. I like to hear that, you know, people are trying to reach out and make amends.
I mean,
you know, it's like, hey, sorry
shit,
for being such a
Roxy.
shithead.
All right.
Yeah, Roxy and I are friends now. You know, we're in a group together.
Crazy. It's crazy, man.
Yep.
But yeah, I definitely want to get into that, but let's do this. Okay, you ready? Are you sitting down? You gotta get comfortable.
Yeah.
Put your
I'm
seatbelt
sitting
on.
down.
Get in
All
the
right,
goddamn car.
This is what we do. We like to travel back in time.
Get in a
we
DeLorean.
we
cop.
hop in
Okay,
our DeLorean.
let's go. I'm ready.
We're gonna go back in time. We're gonna travel back to, I believe, you know, just a few years ago, back in Maine. I think you were born and raised in like Maine or somewhere around there. Is that
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So back in Maine, little Becky's born. What was kind of like growing up? Like, what kind of music were you into? What was kind of like your inspirations in life? Like, where kind of like, what was life like for a young Becky growing up in Maine?
Well, since I can remember, since the start of my remembrance, you know, I don't know what age I was, 3 or 4 or something. I remember living in an apartment with just my mom. She was a single mom, and my little brother, 2 years, 9 months younger. It's almost 3 years younger than me. In a 3-bedroom apartment, and we were on the 2nd floor, I believe. Yeah, Jane was on the 3rd floor. Misty, my babysitter, was on the 1st floor. So the whole apartment knew each other from like childhood. Like all the adults all knew each other, and then they all had kids, and then like all the kids would hang out and play.
Awesome.
And then brother fell out the window when he was 2 years old, almost died. He went through like
shit.
a lot of head trauma and stuff, so he has like epilepsy now. When I was 8, I had this best friend, Tamron, and then I moved away like 30 or 40 minutes away when I was 8 years old. But I still got to see her like every weekend because my mom would go drink over at Jane's house. She would drink and drive. It was the 90s. Yeah, it was crazy. She's a wonderful mom. We didn't die.
God, it was.
But
You got caught then, you got drove home by the cops. They just took you home. They didn't write reports.
Right.
well, also the seats in the back are all padded and everything. We ought to have those corduroy type seats.
Right. Right.
So you're just bouncing off of airbags back then. But anyway, so we moved to Minot, and we lived in a trailer. The trailer was built on where they used to park the trash trucks for the city.
Oh boy.
And the kids in the school knew that. So I was like this new kid. And like, I didn't realize that we were poor until I moved to Minot. Because like, it's like in the sticks, you know what I mean? And a lot of people have like their families, like their dads like they like have moms and dads. And I didn't. I just had a mom. And my dad was always like, he was never in part of the picture. I have vague memories where like when I was real little, I would go to his, like he would take me for like a night or something, like randomly. Like it wasn't like for like months he did this or years he did this. It would be like one random day he's like out of jail or something, and is like the courts say he has to take me, you know, if he doesn't want to pay child support. So I don't know how it works. But anyways, I'd go see him. And so he was in jail a lot, and he'd write me letters from jail. So I never really had a relationship with him. And my mom dated abusive men. And yeah, what else was part of the question?
We're just
How
learning.
far am I going with this?
I mean, you're good. We're just learning about growing up. That's all. So you moved over there, and your trailer was literally like parked on trash, and the kids made fun of you.
No, it was parked on where it was a lot. It was a big lot where they used to park the garbage trucks.
Okay.
So they had cleaned it all out and parked it was like a big trailer, and then it had like an extension on it, so it was like almost like a house, but it was a trailer. It was essentially a trailer, and it was on like a big piece of land. Like it was a big property, so like as kids we always played outside. There was like woods, streams down in the woods, like we had animals, and trauma and traumatic things. When I don't know how old I was. How the fuck old was I? I was like, I want to say 8, but that's what I think we moved to Maine. So I couldn't have been 8. I had to have been like 11. I'm not sure. It was shortly after we moved to Maine. Maybe a year or two later, my mom met Jeffrey. And he was the start of her really abusive relationship. She dated him for like 4 or 5 years. And like he would beat her up all the time. She would fight back though, you know what I mean? So it was like almost an even fight, but still.
So you and your little brother were just kind of there and had to grow up watching all that stuff. And
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So obviously
quite a lot. He would because they would drink a lot. She worked like a 9 to 5. Cody and I would have to get ourselves on the school bus in the morning because it was a different day. We were left home a lot alone, but kids were back then in the early 2000s, late 90s. You know what I mean? I was like 9, and we would have to get ourselves on the school bus, go to school, get ourselves off, and we would be home alone for a couple hours or like an hour before my mom got home from work. But so would all the kids on the street. There was mad kids on the street, so we'd all like play and stuff. You know what I mean? And all the parents did that. They got home when they got home.
For sure. You guys are just Lord of the Flies of it over there in the park.
Huh?
I said the kids were just all like Lord of the Flies over there, just taking over the park while the parents were gone.
Well, it wasn't a park. It was just a dead-end street.
Mm.
So there was like houses and stuff. It was just like, it was the corner of a dead-end street. It was the lot on a corner of a dead-end street that a trailer was just on. But it was like, it wasn't like a trailer park, but there was like just houses, and we would all just play on the street.
I gotcha. Well, that's safe.
Unsupervised. Yeah. So school sucked. I was in special ed. I had ADHD and learning disabilities and stuff like that. So, and then I had a shitty home life because my mom's getting beat up by a drunk boyfriend all the time, and they're fucking arguing and fighting. And I'm not even gonna say this part, but anyways, yeah. So did you have friends in this at that time, or were you just kind of picked up? Yeah, I had like 2 or 3 friends. I had Mariah Brown, who was my friend. My mom and her mom were pregnant together with her and I. She was born on March 3rd. I was born on March 30th. And we grew up together, and then we were babies together, and then like I don't remember that, but then in 3rd grade we re-met, and then we were friends ever since 3rd grade until like high school or something. So I had Mariah, and then I had Megan, and then we had our friend Alex, and then I think that was just about it.
Just a small little. Like, were you picked on? Like, were you like?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was the nerd of the group. I was the girl that we were poor, for one. So I had all hand-me-down clothes, or like clothes that were old, or like didn't fit me very properly. You know what I mean? Like short pants and stuff. Like my mom just put my hair in a ponytail every day. Like, and then I got glasses and stuff, and oh my god. And then I was in special ed, so like,
you're a triple threat.
Yeah, like in school, kids are mean, in
Absolutely.
School, like that's a fucking,
So at that
loser.
young of an age, did you have like, obviously now we most of us are people listening know you're, from music and stuff, but like, I know you're also into art and poetry and things like that. We'll obviously talk about it.
Yeah, I was always into art and poetry. Way when I was like, when I could start writing, I was writing poetry. And my teachers always used to say, you know, my mom wishes she had the old Dell computer we had, because I would used to type up on that, you know, those big old Dell computers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I used to type up poetry on that for, like, we had poetry unit in school in, like, 3rd grade and stuff. And, you know, my teachers used to tell her, and she'll tell you this, if you ever meet my mom, she'll brag. She'll be like, yeah, they used to say, she just writes just like Dr. Seuss, you know, in her poetry, just like Dr. Seuss and stuff, and da-da-da. And then, like, when I got to high school, like, I never, like, turned in homework, though. Like, I wouldn't do the homework. Like, I could have, and I probably could have done good at it, but I didn't have the attention span to focus on doing something that I didn't care about. Yeah. Like, unless it was something I was actively interested in, then I wouldn't do it. You know? So, like, I struggled really hard through my entire years of school. I almost dropped out.
I understand. A lot of people go through that. I understand that. So, like,
yeah, I ended up going to an alternative school.
So at that young age, you were writing. Was that, like, I'm assuming if they say it was like Dr. Seuss, it wasn't necessarily like...
It was like mish mush goes the slush, splish splash goes, you know, like something like that. You know, I was like 8. Yeah. But that's, like, really good for, like, you know, a little kid. And then when I was, I don't know how old I was, I started cutting. And I got depressed probably around the time my mom met Jeffrey. I think I must have been 10 when they met, because I think I was around 14 when they split up, 14, almost 15, because they were together for about 4 years, I think. And yeah, I started getting really depressed because they were like, it was just like a drunk, abusive home, you know, and they would beat us too. You know, we were always beat, but
Jeez.
That's when I started writing, like, the darker stuff. And I had a poetry book. I'll tell you guys all the story. I had a poetry book when I was in, I think I was in 6th or 7th grade. And I had this poetry book, and I would write in it, like, you know, every day, all day, whatever. All kinds of shit. I had a couple of them. But I had one that I brought to school. And, like, I didn't do big gash cuts. I had, like, little razor blades that I broke out of, like, a shaver razor, and I did teeny tiny little cuts on my ankle, like really thin ones, because I didn't want to die. It was just like took the emotional pain away, and it makes it like that little bit of pain makes you forget about everything else that's going on because you're focusing on that. It's stupid. I haven't done it in 12 years. I haven't done it since I was like 19 or something. I think not 13. How old am I? 32? I'm gonna be 32.
Oh, your birthday's in like 2 weeks.
Happy birthday!
Yeah. Thanks. But yeah, so I had blood. I put blood on the poetry books, right? On the pages, some of the pages. And I lost one of these. I lost this poetry book that I brought to school because I shouldn't have brought it to school in the first place. I lost the poetry book at school. And I told the teachers, I said, listen, I have a really important book. It's my poetry book. It's like my diary. I was like, if you find it, can you please let me know? But please don't read it. I ask that you don't read it. The guidance counselor found it, opened it up, read the entire thing, threatened to call, brought me into the office. And like, there was one page that had the blood on it or something. And she had ripped it out, and she was like gonna call, like there was a bunch of stuff about my home life, like poetry's about like how I wanted to die and like all kinds of shit, you know what I mean? And she was gonna call motherfucking CPS, Child Protective Services, on my mom. And I didn't want to get taken away from my fucking mom, so I ripped the piece of paper. So I actually didn't even rip it out of her hand. I asked her if I could see it. I pretended I was such a good little faker. I pretended like as I was scared, but I was pretending like I was sad and like she was doing the right thing, you know? So I asked if I could see it. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Can I see it? So she handed it to me so I could see it, and I ripped it up into 1,000 pieces. And I threw it in her trash can, and she looked at me and she goes, I really hate doing puzzles. What a bitch, right? So I went home and I burned the rest of my poetry books and my stories in the fire pit in the backyard. My mom got home and cried. Because she knew I did poetry. She knew I kind of cut myself. like we were working through it. Like it was something that we were working through, you know. She knew home life was terrible at the time, but you know, she cried because she knows I had really good work in there. For
sure, I bet. And that, not to like you know, negate your situation, obviously, but like I know that's a like, even like when I was in school, that's like unfortunately it's like a common thing, like growing up, kids, you know, in that age, they kind of get into that, like you're depressed, and maybe you think you don't want to die, but you want to pretend, and or like some people do it for attention.
It's like it's a weird thing. It's a weird little addiction thing that you get into. It's kind of just like a vice. You know, you're too young that you're not really. I wasn't smoking cigarettes yet or anything, so I would that was like the thing I do. Like when you snort Smarties to pretend you're doing pills or something. When you're, know what I mean.
Unfortunately, I have done Smarties.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody does. Like, everybody does something stupid, like snorts a pixie stick or pepper or something when they're kids.
Burn our hands with the eraser, and our hands would look like Mickey Mouse gloves.
Whatever. You know what I mean? Or smokes a popsicle stick or something, you know?
I don't know about that one. Don't be doing
that. Well, I don't know. I'm just, you know.
But yeah, it's, you know, as unfortunate it is, it's like, you know, it's almost like adolescent brains, like they're like you're depressed, but you don't want to die. But the only thing you know of for such a reason to
you want to die? Well,
is
it's
almost
suicidal ideations.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's the ideations. It's the constant thought, because I still deal with it to this day. It was something, and I think because of all that trauma I went through, you know, it still harbors inside me. I gotta meditate and find little baby Becky in there and apologize to her and tell her it's okay, you know, and do that whole Zen thing. But anyways, before that, you know, whatever I was gonna say, I forgot. I'm high.
All good. So, but at this time period, like all these, you know, all the things going in your life, the traumatic things are just normal human teenage experiences.
Yeah, and honestly, that's what Joe used to say to me. He's like, you know, Becky, he's like, because when we would argue or get into arguments and stuff in the beginning of our relationship, like I go hard, you know what I mean? And he would be like, you know, it's different for people like me because I didn't grow up in a household like that, you know what I mean? Like his mom was real sweet, you know, well, besides like, you know, the situations with his dads and stuff like that, but his mom was real like a sweetheart and stuff. And like with his kids, like they don't like, if he always said, him and Michelle, if they ever did argue, they'd never argue in front of the kids. Like they don't yell. There's no, like, Joe's not abusive at all. Like physically abusive. Like he's not doesn't give the household that I grew up in.
Yeah.
So he's like, it's not necessary for you to get this angry about things. He's like, but I understand because that's just normal to you. Because that's how you grew up. You grew up in a household where that way you're acting is normal. And it really made me realize that how I was acting isn't normal. It was just normal to me. And then I needed to put myself in check, you know, and that's when I got on my Abilify I went to a psychiatrist, got diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. And I'm on a medication for it now. And it really helps.
For sure. And that's you're talking like that's within the last 6 or 7 years.
That's right? In the last few years. Yeah. Last 6 years. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because it was probably the beginning. It was the very beginning of our relationship.
I gotcha.
That I had a lot of anger issues. And it wasn't even like anger issues towards Joe. It's just like anything would happen, like any little drop of a dime for anything, like not even pertaining to him. Like I could, like road rage or like getting in an argument with my mom or stuff. Like he would just see everything and be like, you don't need to get this angry about these little situations. You know what I mean? So he really, I feel like as much as me and him clash sometimes, he helped me become a better person.
That's good. That's good. Well, I mean, just this, I think just you saying that probably proves that. But yeah, so going back to, you know, when you were a kid, so even in this time, like with all the things you have going on, even at such a young age, you were already writing. You may not realize what you were doing, but that was kind of like, even at an early age, your way of getting all this stuff out.
I tried writing my first rap when I was like 13, I think. I was with my friend Cameron back. Remember the friend that I moved away from?
Uh-huh.
When I lived in the apartment building, and then when I was 8, I moved to the Minot trailer. Well, the friend I moved away from, my best friend Cameron, that I would go see on the weekends, she was a couple years older than me. And she was really into like dark stuff, you know, like wearing hoodies and boys already, and like
bad influence.
Like stuff like that, you know, and like Eminem or like rap music. She's the one that showed me ICP for the very first time. She's the one that told me about it all.
And this, you said you were like 13 or so?
Yeah.
That's all kind of the same time period? Like she introduced you to hip hop and...
Yeah, around that. And then you know, I don't know, we're sitting in her bed and we wanted to stay up all night one night. And we used to put a bandana over the clock because we were young. You're 13, 14 years old. She was probably 14, 15. I was 13. Something. I think she's like a year or two older than me. Mm-hmm. And maybe we were younger than that. No, you couldn't have been younger than that. No, I had to have been 13, 14. I used to put a bandana over the alarm clock and try to just not take it off and wait till the sun comes up, you know what I mean? So we tried to write a rap, and I found it one day, and it was like, me and Tammy, we the queens, Auburn is our town. Don't be messing with us because we're down to put you to the ground, or something like that. It was on a little tiny piece of paper. It was only a few bars each. And then she said something. And then she's one of the ones that I like almost started rapping with. Have you ever heard Corner Store? It's a real old one. It's one of the very first raps I ever put out forever ago under Tippy.
Possibly.
Way before Blahzay Roze.
Possibly. I couldn't tell you.
That's Tammy on that with me. Dizzy. Okay. Dizzy is Tammy.
Okay. I think I recall seeing that name on something.
Yeah, song's called Corner Store. Or something like that.
So 13 years old, you're already writing poetry. Your friend introduced you to hip hop. Did she introduce you to juggalo music at that point too?
She didn't introduce me to hip hop. I don't remember. I don't know what would constitute as hip hop back in the 90s, but I loved all the music that was on the radio at the time. Everything that was hot then. My mom was playing in the car, like. We would like whatever radio stations like Chumbawamba and all that was on. I listened to all that. I didn't ask for and I didn't really like, but at the time I love now and I know all the songs now because I listened to them and had the CDs when I was a kid, but I didn't ask for the CDs. Was NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears. Mm-hmm. They would get me that kind of stuff for Christmas because they were trying to make me not a nerd, I think. Like my mom would get me like
whatever was cool.
That she thought was in what was cool at the time, yeah. Like Cisco and Dancing Queen, Young and Only 17.
That wasn't cool. Yeah. That wasn't cool.
I used to listen to that and be like, 70s, I don't need to go to school. I'm just gonna be famous.
Just so you know, that's ABBA. That's from the 70s, not the 90s. But
no, there was another one that came out. It was by somebody else.
Oh, okay, like the dance hall remix.
There was like a
remix,
yeah. It was in like the early 2000s or the 90s.
They played it at the skating rink. It was probably cool.
Yeah, it was awesome for me. I used to take the vacuum cleaner and put it in the middle of my room, and I'd make my friend Tiffany. Oh yeah, I forgot about Tiffany. Fuck, I'm sorry, Tiffany, if you're listening. I love you. Tiffany lived down the street from me, like a couple houses down, which was actually like a distance because the houses had such big property. But it was like a little down the street. I used to make her come over, and then the other girl across the street, Kayla would come over, and then the other girl down the street, Jackie would come over, and I'd make them sit, and I'd put on like Mambo No. 5 or Dancing Queen. And I'd take my vacuum cleaner and I'd pretend it was like a mic on a stand. And I used to dress up and like karaoke them.
So you were just putting on shows for the neighborhood. Damn.
Yeah, I was.
You started young. There you go. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I didn't know, but I think when I talk about it now, I guess so. Yeah, no, it's funny how it all happened.
It's all in there. Somebody in the chat mentioned none of the music you listed is rap, by the way.
No, I know. So I think it was, I'm not sure, but I started listening to like Lil Bow Wow and 50 Cent and Eminem. I think it might have been Eminem because Tiffany was listening to Eminem at the time.
Yeah,
but I wasn't allowed to.
That was about the time that, Eminem and like you said, like Will Smith, Bow Wow, things like that started getting integrated into the radio. It was
so that's I think around what I started on. I can't think, and then like G Unit. I got into G Unit and like Lloyd Banks and Young Buck, and I would get it. I really liked Busta Rhymes. I really liked how did it go from there? What else was I listening to? Jeezy. I really like that gangsta rap, like Project Born. Who am I thinking of? Not Project Born. Project Born too, but that wasn't until later in life. Who am I thinking of? Project Pat. Yeah, stuff like that.
NSYNC,
I like that.
Y'all can be. I said, don't be hating on NSYNC though. No strings attached. It's fire. We sing it in the car all the time.
I love NSYNC now. I didn't realize how much I love the songs. Now that I'm an adult and I can appreciate them.
Hell yeah.
And I went through the Spice Girls phase. Watched movies. I went through a phase with Hansons. One time I ate a mushroom with my ex-best friend and we started tripping. And we were outside smoking a cigarette and we didn't realize we were tripping until we were halfway through bopping and we were clapping and tapping the porch with our feet, making the beat. And all of a sudden we stopped and I'm like, what are we doing?
That's funny. It
was the best.
So obviously you're into music. You're already writing, even though you may not have realized like how important that is, especially at a young age. But your creative juices are flowing. You're performing in front of your friends, for fun. Was there ever a time, like at such a young age, where you were like, I want to do this. I want to be a singer. Or I want to be a rapper. Like, is it something that
I just wanted to be famous so I wouldn't have to work because I thought it was the easy way out as a kid. I thought I'm going to be famous and rich and travel the world, and I don't want to stay in Maine. And I just want people to notice me because people didn't.
I feel that for sure.
That's what I glorified of it. You know what I mean? The popularity.
But there was never like I want people to notice me for this, or I want to be famous for that. You were just like,
I didn't really, I didn't know it was going to be for writing music. I thought if I did anything that I would be famous for, it would have had to have been, because I wasn't writing at the time. I was saying, fuck school, I'm just going to be famous. And I used to say that all the time. I'd say that right to the teacher. I'd be like, I'm just going to be famous. I don't even care.
Sure.
And I was just thinking, like, I just got to, do one amazing painting and get paid like $100,000 or something, you know what I mean? Like, people do that, it happens, or like I just need to write one book, you know what I mean? And then and then once I get published, I'll know that I can do it and I'll write again, because I would write stories too. Like my teachers would tell me, they're like, just pass in what you have, it's a story. Like, so I had like a back and front page. And he read it and he like almost cried. He's like, this is beautiful. He's like, you have an unbelievable talent. He's like, why don't you just pass your homework? And I'm like, so I don't fucking want to. Like I hated school. I hated it. And I've been told I write like stories. I've been told I write really, really well, descriptive. So I always thought, and then when I was like 25, I was with my sister. I think I've told a couple people this story before. I was 25 or 23 or something. I was 20 something. Before I was 26. I was 26 when I met Joe. So this was before 2016. So it was like 2014, 2015. I was in this little bar with my sister and a bunch of our friends, and we were all drunk, and I went to the bathroom. And while I was going pee, I heard this woman doing a medium thing, like a medium that tells not your future, but like can read you or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
and she's like talking to this other woman outside the bathroom. So I was like hurrying up to pee so I could like wash my hands and like try to get a conversation with her. So I go out there and I was like, how am I going to start this conversation? Oh, my mom goes to medium parties. Just say that. You're drunk. Anyways. So the woman she was talking to leaves the bathroom, and it's just me and her, the medium, in there now. So I turn to her and I go, oh, are you a medium? My mom goes to like medium parties and stuff. That's so cool. And she's like, yes. And then she just looks at me and she grabs both my shoulders and she's like, she's like, whatever you stopped doing recently that you love to do, she's like, you need to start doing it again, because I'm seeing like the number 6 or something. And I was writing a book, and I had just stopped writing a book a month prior because of my depression. And I was like, I'm never going to get this done. I'll just scrap it. You know what I mean? And I loved doing it, but I just didn't think I could, you know? And she's like, whatever you're doing, you need to start doing that again. So I took that as writing. I took it as writing the book at the time, but it was just writing, I think. And then she's like, and I'm seeing the number 6. And I said, oh, I was writing a book. I was like, maybe it's the book that I was writing. So and she's like, yes, that could be it. She's like, it very well could be. She's like, and I'm seeing the number 6 on you. Maybe in 6 months, if you finish it, maybe in 6 months you'll be published, or 2016 you'll be published, or something like that, or da 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 da. And I was like, cool. So I just went home. And I was like so happy. I was like started writing the book again, but when I never finished it. I actually started a different one. I'm going to do this one instead. But anyways, a couple years later, or however X amount of time later, February 6th, 2016 is when Joe and I first talked on Facebook for the first time.
Oh shit. That medium may have been onto something, or maybe you should just finish the damn book. Maybe you should finish the damn book. Maybe she was just a drunk bitch in the fucking bathroom, but she fucking nailed it. Maybe it had nothing to do with Joe on February 6th, but you should finish the damn book and you might have got $6 million.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, you're still alive, so there's still time. Yeah. There's still time to finish the book.
It's not, I don't know. Money's not like a big thing to me. The only thing I would really want a bunch of money for is just so I could like make sure my mom and my brother were taken care of. Because Cody's got epilepsy, and like I got to make sure he's gonna be set up when she passes away, because he can't live alone. You know what I mean? And he's like, he's a cantankerous motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like he's a very specific type of individual, and he's hard to get along with for people, but he loves me. We love each other. We have a great relationship. That's awesome. If I could have a nice house that I could move into with his own space and like put her up, that would be nice. But like other than that, I think I always just wanted the fame because I wanted the popularity. I just wanted people to see me for once. No, absolutely. But then when I got there, like when I met Joe, when I went on the date with Joe, I told my friend specifically, I said, listen, please don't tell him I rap, because I don't want him to think that that's why I got him down here or something, or wanted to go on a date with him, because I denied him a date for like a while. Well, hold on. We haven't gotten there yet, okay? You're getting ahead. Okay, go ahead. You're getting ahead of yourself. Whoa. Slow down. We don't even know who that is yet in this story, okay? Okay. We haven't even met that character yet. But what you said on you want people to see you, no one, to go off what you were saying about when you got there, no one, and this is just my opinion, but no one got to see you then. They got to see, what was portrayed as Blase Roze. So, yeah, well, that's what I was getting at. Book. I didn't want, when I finally got to where I thought I always, like, you think you want something, like I thought I wanted the fame because it would give me the popularity so people would see me. But then when I got the opportunity, I was there, I was like, I don't know if I want this. And then now 6 years later, it's like, was it worth it? For sure. Because all the pain, all the pain, all the hate, all the, I got dragged, real hard for years. People still try to drag me. So it's like being in the spotlight for anybody. Is it worth it? Like, people dog on Kim Kardashian and they don't know her through a hole in the wall except for what she portrays to the public. And is it all worth it? It's like people think that just because you're in the spotlight, they have a right to abuse you or treat you as they see fit. based on what they make you out to be in their own head with whatever information they have on you. You know, they make you into this person that they think you are. And that could be so far from who you actually are. And then you get treated in a way, and people think it's justified just because you're in the spotlight. Well, you know, don't be there if you can't take it. Don't, you know, whatever they say. You know what I'm talking about.
No, absolutely. People are terrible.
Yeah,
people are
so
terrible.
It was hard as fuck, and I think about it all the time. It's like, man, all the pain and all the shit that I went through, was it worth it? You know, is this what I want? This isn't what I wanted. You know what I mean? I didn't think it was going to be like this.
For sure.
But then you see all the good stuff that it brought too, because like there are hundreds upon hundreds over the last 6 years, hundreds of people of all ages, of male and female, all sexes, that have messaged me with like the most beautiful letters about how my shit has like helped them, and then they go into like specifics, and so I know they're not lying. I know they're not just making it up to try to get someone to talk to them, you know what I mean? Like they're being serious, and it just makes me feel like, wow. And that's what makes it worth it. It's not, I realize now as an adult, it's not that I just wanted to be seen, because I thought that's all life was. Like, you just, once you're famous or once you're popular, your name should be known. Before you die, just make your name known, you know what I mean? But it's not that your name needs to be known to everybody, but it's the message you leave and the lessons you leave in the people that you touch around you.
Amen to that.
And that's
Absolutely.
what makes it worth it.
Hell yeah. And us getting opportunities to share stories like yours and other people's makes it worth it to us, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's what it's all about. And it's definitely people's stories, man, which is, I feel like yours has never been told. I was talking about this earlier. I went back. I'm getting ahead of myself too, but I went back today and listened to your interview with Scotty D, which is basically like the only real interview you've ever done about anything.
Yeah.
And I love Scotty D, but that fucking thing is cringe as hell. It's been so edited, and I know, like, I was told that he was, you know, informed to I don't know what you talked about, because 90% of it's been cut.
Well, you know, honestly, I'll give you the low down right now. This is the real deal, and I don't even know if I'm supposed to talk about this, but I don't care anymore. So I was so brand new, and it was kind of the same thing about why I didn't perform at Gathering. I think it was that the Don's a psychopathic, not really Joe per se, but Joe a little bit, but like Jump Steady and, you know, Billy and Joey and them, and some other people that thought, you know, she's never even been on stage before. How are we going to put her on stage in front of thousands of people? And I told them, I said, I'll do it. I don't know if I'll get up there. I could pass out. I have no idea, but I'll do it. You know what I mean? And they're like, no. And they just, like, they didn't know how the crowd was going to react. Like, they just got worried. So they just sheltered me. And I don't know if it's because they're men from a different era and I'm a woman, but it was like a save your pity for the weak type thing that I see now. But they thought they were like protecting me. They were being like big brothers. You know what I mean? Like trying to protect me.
Well, and I heard with that interview too. It was like you were probably saying a lot of the things you're saying now, and they're like, that's not gonna. Juggalos are gonna care about Becky's sad story.
I didn't really talk about much with Scotty at all. You know, there really wasn't much. I haven't watched I haven't watched the interview in a while, but I know it was mostly just me stopping and wondering if I was allowed to say something, like if it was giving too much information, because I didn't know how to do an interview at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know, like, what I should give out yet. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't anything really bad that was, like, I wasn't, like, giving out psychopathic, dirty secrets. Well, Joe and everyone were right there during the music video. I mean, during the interview. And then they tried to do this, this thing at the end, you know, where celebrities read mean tweets?
Uh-huh.
You know, that like little joke thing that people do.
Uh-huh.
They tried to do that with me, where Blase Roze reads mean tweets, and like apparently I wasn't good at it because Jump said he was like, "Yeah, we're just gonna cut that whole thing. It just honestly sounds mean when you say it." I'm like, "Oh,
because it is
like as in like you just feel bad. It's not funny. Like you just feel bad."
Yeah, but it, you know, I mean, and in that time period, too. I mean, not to discredit Scotty, because you know, but it's just really added it. But at the time,
Scotty's been awesome.
There to
Scotty
promote.
was always awesome.
Yeah, for sure. You were there to promote a record and to promote the character of Blahzay Roze. Like anything outside of that was not your job, and they just cut the rest of it out. Like you weren't there to tell your story. You were there to promote the Blahzay Roze album.
Yeah, I don't really know what that interview was for. I think it's because everyone was having such a conniption about me being a female and coming out on Psychopathic.
For sure. So yeah, so obviously we're jumping around, but let's go back. So you're getting into hip hop. You're performing for your friends. You wrote your first rap, which sounds like something we should play jump rope to, but still it's dope.
Yeah, I'll find it someday. I got it. I got a couple books. Like after I burned all my poetry back when I was like 10. 11, 12 maybe at the latest. And then I ended up getting more books and I started writing raps because when I was 14 I was going to stay back. Okay, so I first heard ICP when I was 13 or 13 or 14. I watched that movie. What is it? The head fuck.
The head fuck? I've never seen that one.
I probably have.
I'm sure you have.
The one with Shaggy's like a crazy psycho and your head would mean so much to me.
Oh, the bowling balls video?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but there was like a movie.
Yeah,
it was
it's like a mini movie, but it's a video. Yeah.
Yeah, so we watched the movie and we listened to like Piggy Pie or a couple other things. I don't really remember. Boogeyman, I think, and
so that was kind of your first introduction to Insane Clown Posse and the Juggalos?
Well, yeah, and before that, she had called me a couple days earlier, and she said, "I'm going to put you on the phone with this guy." Yeah, so I must have been 14. Yeah, I must have just turned 14 at this point. So, she's like, "I'm going to put you on the phone with this kid named Ian, and he's a juggalo." And she's like, write all this down. So I'm like, okay, and I start writing this stuff down. She's like, Juggalos, and she starts naming all this stuff. She's like, 17 Moons of Del Rey. She's like, all this stuff. She's like, fucking the Joker's cards. La 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 la. You're a juggalette. Da 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 da. And she puts me on the phone with him, and she's like, wants to set us up or something. And she's like, okay, so you're a juggalette. And I was like, okay. And I get on the phone and we talked for a little while. And I was like, hey, I just want you to know, like, I'm not a juggalette. I have no idea what any of this stuff is. He's like, I know, I can tell, but it's cool. And then, like, I went to her house and I met him. And he was, like, one of my first kisses ever.
Oh, my
and,
God. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was, like, one of my first kisses ever. And I almost threw up in his mouth because we were making out. And we had gotten Smirnoff somehow. And we were smoking cigarettes and marijuana. And I didn't know at the time I couldn't mix because it was like my first time doing all those things. So I had like one Smirnoff and like some hits of marijuana for my first time. And I got the spins and I like almost threw up in his mouth.
Fucking Juggalos are bad influences. Holy shit. You did all that shit the first time you met another Juggalo.
No.
It's been all downhill since then.
That's a whole nother list we should be on. Holy God.
Yeah. Anyways, so
have you met Juggalos?
No, everyone has their own free will. I don't believe in bad influences. So anyways, so then like I spent the night at her house and we listened to all that stuff and I was like, wow, I like rap, and I was like, I really like this stuff, and like so I went home and I downloaded a bunch of it on my Dell computer. And a bunch of Twisted and Boondocks and Blase and like all kinds of shit. And like, I didn't know the difference between them at the time. You know what I mean? I was just listening to it. And it all kind of sounded the same to me at first.
For sure.
And then what happened? Then I'm in like high school. So
from that.
Because I'm in like 14, 15 now. So I'm just starting freshman year. And just 2004, 2005. I'm just starting freshman year. I'm a total nerd. Nobody likes me all freshman year.
But now you're a secret juggalo.
Then, well, no, I wasn't really at the time. I just kind of listened to it, but I didn't like crazy get into it yet. You know what I mean? But I had to listen to it, like, and I had a few songs on, like, my mixtapes and stuff, you know what I mean? But I didn't know yet. I'd listened to it, I was getting into the sound, but I didn't, like, know about it yet, you know what I mean?
So how was Tippy born?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So I'm in high school now. It's the end of freshman year, and I meet Nikki and Jasmine. Nikki and Jasmine end up being my best friends that entire summer into our sophomore year. Sophomore year, I stay back. I'm now going to my second sophomore year. I'm about to stay back again. Now it's reaching 2008. It's 2007, and I'm about to stay back again. And I'm like, my mom's like, fuck this. And I'm like, fuck this. I'm quitting school. And she's like, you're going to an alternative school. So in 2008, I went to an alternative school, and I was there for 2 years, and I graduated in 2010, 2 years late. I was supposed to graduate in 2008, but I graduated in 2010. That's when I went to the alternative school, is when I met the Juggalo crew that kind of hazed me and went to my first show with, went to my first gathering with. Realized that a lot of other people that I know have Juggalo friends, like my best friend, one of my best friends, Brooke, from high school. We went to theater together. We were like theater buddies. I started hanging out with her outside of school, and because she started going to the alternative school too, and I found out that her brother's girlfriend was a Juggalo, and like they had all kinds of Juggalo friends. So, like, all of a sudden, all the Juggalos started coming out of the woodwork, and they started teaching me about it and like what everything meant and like the actual depth of it all, you know. And it just resonated with me. And then from then on, now we're here.
Now we're here. So you're submerged in the Juggalo world. You got your Juggalo fam. You're gathering. You're whooping. You're drinking your Fagos. Yeah. I'm just talking like an idiot.
I've never really been into soda.
You don't have like a soda fetish or nothing?
No, I mean, if I do ginger ale or I'll do Sprite. But so I like Twist. I do love Twist.
I gotcha.
I love a good Twist.
But as a young Juggalo, you have to, like, you know, cover yourself in soda. You don't have to necessarily drink it. You have to.
I've done the Fago showers. Oh yeah.
I remember when we were Juggalo, we weren't even at shows. We would just get Fago and just fight each other in the yard.
I was 22 years old and painting my face I'm just saying 22, that's like in the middle of it because that's just a good age. And I was definitely doing it at that age. 22, I was in all October, we would paint our face every day, all day. And we'd just go out in public. Like, the town knows about the Juggalos, the Juggalo crew, our crew. We loved it.
Hell yeah.
We painted I was the best face painter. I'd paint everybody's faces every time they came over.
So getting deep into the Juggalo world, you know, and you know, obviously be surrounded by, for most people tuned in, I'm sure they know the experience of being a Juggalo and being surrounded by the Juggalo love and getting out there. Is that what kind of brought it all together for you? And like, you're like, all right, I want to like do this type of music. Is that where was Tippy born from the?
Yeah, so Tippy was born around the time Tippy was born when I went to the alternative school. There was the Juggalo crew there, and I started hanging out with one of them, and she's like, started becoming besties, and she started trying to bring me around the crew, but they were hesitant about posers and stuff and Juggalos. So then we were, my now ex-best friend, Laura, her baby daddy, Cobell, who she was still with at the time, them and a bunch of the guys rapped. And they rapped good. They still rap good. Cobell, Adam raps amazing. I don't know what he goes now by. K something. What is it?
I don't know.
But he's awesome. Adam Cobell is his name. He used to go by, I forgot now. Fuck, man. What was our Juggalo name? What was his Juggalo name? I don't remember. I think he goes by K-Truth now.
So a lot of people in the Juggalo crew were rapping and they were doing.
And then I was like, I write poetry, so I was like, I can probably rap. And I tried writing that rap with Cameron once, and I picked it up immediately. I didn't know how to write bars, but I immediately knew how to write to a flow, like to a beat. Like I know how to flow to a beat and beat on beat.
Just like Dr. Seuss when you were a little kid.
Yeah, I knew how to write on beat. I just didn't know. I would do like, okay, the beat drops in at 26 seconds. That's where my rap starts. And then I go until where I thought I knew where the chorus was. But man, I used to write so many bars. And I thought one bar was actually 2 bars. Like up until I met Joe, and Joe taught me about 4 count and stuff. He's like, no, your bars are 4 count. It's like 1 sentence. I'm like, oh. So I used to write like 32 bar verses.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Doing too much work is better than not doing enough.
Yeah, you're right.
So you just crewed up with the Juggalos in the area. They're rapping. You get into it. Obviously, you're already writing. You're already, artistic. So it just kind of fell into place. And I guess one of those guys ended up getting married, and you fell in love with your Juggalo.
Joe, Mark was not. No, Mark lived down the street from me when I was living in Minot.
Okay.
I was still living in Minot in the trailer at the time. I lived in the trailer Minot for almost 10 years. So from when I was like 8 till I was like 17.
Like, did stuff together at some point. He rapped as well, right?
Well, no. Well, yes. So he still does. So he lived down the street, and me, Nikki, and Jasmine used to get picked up from her friend Chad. We would sneak out of my house. He'd drive down the road. We'd run through the yard. He'd pick us up, and we'd go up 30 minutes to Poland. We'd all get drunk. Well, one day we were up there, and they're like, oh, we're going to go down to our buddy Mark's house, and we're going to party over there. Becky, it's actually right by your house, so we can just give you a ride home from there. I'm like, cool. And I was like, wow, this is right next to my house. Like, there's my house. And then we turned down that road, and he was right there. I'm like, oh, wow. You know what I mean? Like, I used to drive by this house when I was on the bus as a little kid. That's so funny. And then I thought he was, like, the super hottest shit ever in the world, so we ended up getting together. And then he was actually in Iraq he was in basic training or in boot camp and stuff when I met the Juggalos. So he had just come home from that, and I was trying to teach him about it, and he thought it was stupid at first. And then I painted his face one day, and he felt all badass. And then I introduced him to them, and he liked them, and him and Cobell became best friends. And then he started rapping I guess he used to rap in college and stuff, but he didn't really do anything. He just did it because he could do it, and it was like the cool thing to do. Like, it was like a party trick. So then he started rapping too, yeah, and we all just rap. We all would just sit around and take Adderall and write raps.
Madness. So were you guys... were you married before he went away and he just came home to some Juggalo bride waiting for him?
No, we got married right before he went to Iraq. I think it was 2009. I
gotcha.
No. Yeah.
Sometime. It's all right. You don't need to know the dates. This isn't court. We're not going to hold you. We're not going to hold you to it.
Yeah, it was 2009. I was 19 when I got married.
Married at 19, and then you start rapping. So where did the name Tippy come? What made you decide?
Oh, the first concert that we were all going to. It was my first concert, and I was going with the Juggalo crew, and this was like one of my initiations, you know what I mean, type thing. And no one ever really said that, but that's how it felt, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm gonna be a real Juggalo now, you know.
Gang initiation.
Finally popping my show cherry, you know, like. Anyways, so she's like, oh, I'm making shirts for everybody with our FOG, Freaks of the Graveyard, was their thing. And 207 Freak Team. And they were putting everyone's nicknames on the back of their shirts. And she's like, what do you want me to put for yours? And I was like, oh, I don't have a nickname. I guess Tippy. And I made it up right there on the spot. I said Tippy because MySpace was just ending around that time too, or it had just ended. You know, this was still, I was like, you know, I must have been 18 at this time. Was I 18? Was I 17? How fucking old was I?
You're old.
I don't remember. Anyways, Tiptoed Now You're Dead was my old MySpace name. And I kind of used Tippy as like a gamer name. So I just said Tippy. And then Tiptoed Now You're Dead kind of stuck.
Ooh, okay. I always thought it was because like you're drunk and you're like tipsy. I thought Tippy was like tipsy.
No.
Tiptoed Now You're Dead from MySpace. Shout out to Tom. Missed that guy. So you get into rapping and you recorded songs. I mean, there's for people that are internet savvy, you can actually find, like you mentioned one earlier, tracks that you did as Tippy. Like, what was there a goal there? Were you guys doing? I mean, you said you had never been on stage before, so you guys weren't like performing in the area locally or anything like that. Like, what was kind of the thought process about rapping and all that in that time period?
Wait, what was that? I'm sorry, I was reading something. What? The last sentence, just the last sentence.
Just like
in what time period?
Well, yeah, like so, like you said you'd never been on stage, and that was kind of an issue with the gathering announcement and stuff. So, like, what were you guys doing? Like, I know there's recorded music out there as Tippy. Like, what was the goal? What was the mindset?
Well,
what
I was just doing it to prove that I could do it because I was a chick, and it was cool for this chick to rap. And when I would do it, everyone would gather around, and I would have all eyes on me.
But like, were you was like the idea you wanted to be a rapper? Like, you wanted to do shows, you wanted to put out records, like?
No, I was just doing it for fun.
So what were your goals at that point in your life, or did you have any? You were just enjoying?
No, I was just depressed. I wanted to die.
Well, that ain't no good.
I'm living day to day.
So what kind of happened? So what happened next? So obviously, we know eventually you met Joe, but like, what was going on in your life up until that point? You're rapping, you find the Juggalos, you're married. Like,
I was being enabled to lay in bed all day and cry and do nothing and do drugs all day and do cocaine and do Adderall and drink and get drunk and just party every day, all day. Even when I didn't want to anymore, I just still did it anyways. That's what everyone was doing. And I was just miserable.
And how old were you at this time? You're like 20 something?
Yeah, 20s.
So then, so what happened next? You're on Facebook?
Yeah, then I'm on Facebook. It's the year of top 10. It's the year of, I don't fucking know.
Quoting your text
yeah,
messages.
about 5 years. This is only 5 years before I meet Joe.
And you're just
after I got married. So I was with Mark since I was 16. Got married at 19. We separated when I was 24, 25. No, 22, actually. I think I was 22. So we separated. I cheated on him when he was in Iraq. When he came home from Iraq, I told him about it. Because it was just like a fuck buddy thing. It wasn't like I was in love with someone else. It was just a dick piece. So I told him when he came home. He ended up befriending the guy, which I thought was hella weird, but whatever. And, so I'm that shitty, trash-ass wife. But I was 19, you know what I mean? And not that that's an excuse, but still. So then, 22, he cheats on me with one of my best friends. We split up. I move in with our friend Jitters. Me and Jitters live together. Mark ends up doesn't work out with the girl he cheated on me with. And his dad won't let him live with him. So he's crying and asks if he can live with us. So I asked, and me, Jitters, and Mark all lived together before Mark and I split up. And then we had to kick out Jitters because he was going to do this thing with this girl and his dad or whatever. And I was left on my own, and I hadn't worked. He had enabled me for years and years and years, and I hadn't worked in years. You know what I mean? I was all just depressed wreck, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I had actually just got a job at a pizza shop down the road. So Jitters and I gave Jitters all the money I had saved up. It was like $200. I gave Jitters all the money I had saved up. I said, please take me with you, because he found an apartment. I was like, please take me with you. It was 3-bedroom. So he's like, all right, but you have to make sure you pay rent on time. I was like, I will. I'll give you all my money. I don't even care. Like, just take me with you. I don't have anywhere else to go. So he did. And then all of a sudden, this thing doesn't work out with Mark. And then he's like, I need a place to stay. And our dumbasses let him stay with us. And then I met Josh, my ex-boyfriend. Josh was a really bad heroin addict. He is sober now, I believe. I don't know how long it's been, but he's recently sober. So shout out to Joshua. Shout out Sabs.
Oh, yeah.
He is the one that inspired White Lights. Josh, we were together for a year, and we lived together, and we bounced around because he was a heroin addict, and he would always steal our money and go spend it on drugs, or his money would go missing and whatever. And I was trying to work as hard as I could and support us, and he was too, but he was using all his money on drugs. And he was like a heroin addict for like 7 years when I met him or something like that. But I didn't know because I had never been around that stuff before. So like a month or two into our relationship, my friend D was like, yo, he does dope. And I was like, I smoke weed too. And she's like, no, like dope's heroin. And I didn't know that at the time, but now I know that's what dope means. And so I didn't believe her. So I started searching the house, and I was like, if I was a heroin addict, where would I hide my stuff? Dude, I found his fucking kit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was up underneath the sink in the bathroom. Like if you lifted your hands up and put them above the inside of the cupboard, it was up there. I'm a motherfucking detective, bro. I can put myself in somebody's shoes really fucking easily. I learn people really, really quick. I can learn you, and I'll tell you stuff about yourself that you don't even notice. Or that you don't think anyone else notices. Or you don't realize until I make you realize that that's what you do. I do it to fucking Angel and Roxy and everybody all the time. My friends get annoyed by it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just know you. Like, I can predict our conversations. Like I know what they're
trying to hang
already.
out and chill. Like, why you gotta make it weird?
I'm scared already.
Yeah. So dating the heroin addict.
Like, damn.
My great grandmother dies, leaves me like $800 in her will, and my mom's like, you need to get yourself an apartment, because me and Josh were bouncing at the time. She's like, you need to get yourself an apartment, and that's what your money's going to go to. It's going to go to your deposit and your rent. So we went into this slumlord building, and Josh was sober for like a month. He tried to get sober. I'll give it to him. He tried to get sober the whole time we were together. He actively tried to get sober. He'd go on methadone. He tried cold turkey. He tried Suboxones. He tried. He really did give it an effort, but it's just, you know, it's a struggle. It's a real struggle for people. It's sad. And he relapsed. I had just gotten Gunther, my puppy, the day before. It was the 4th of July. And
hey, Gunther.
And he now admits that he took a Klonopin at work, drank a beer at Sophia's house, and then we were broken up at the time, but we were still living together, and I wanted him to move out, and he was like, Sophia, take Becky down to the fireworks with you and convince her that I love her and stuff, and I'm not going to go to the fireworks because I didn't want Gunther to go to the fireworks, so he was going to take the puppy, Gunther, he was only 6 weeks old, back to the house and chill with him while we went down to the fireworks. And I was like, but he was stumbling and like slurring his words. So I'm like, you obviously fucking took something at work. Like, you obviously relapsed, or you did something. Like, you look like you're fucking high as fuck right now. Like, I was pissed. So I was like berating him the whole way home. And Sophia was only down the street, so we just walked back down the street to our house. He's like, no, you gotta go down to the fireworks. So I was like, no, I'm not fucking leaving. Then he lost the house key, so we had to climb through the fucking window of our apartment to get in. And then like I was still like yelling at him and stuff because I was pissed. And that's when he like blacked out, snapped, and beat the shit out of me.
Jesus.
And I had to call the cops, and it was really intense. It was like it was really scary, because I remember when he pushed me, and then I like had gotten flung down onto the floor at the very beginning, and he jumped on top of me, and he was like straddling on top of me, and he had his hands around my throat, was like choking me. And I was thought for a second, and when I looked in his eyes, they like, he wasn't there. This was the drug. And that was so scary. And I looked over and I was like, in a movie situation like this, somebody would pick up a rock and smash him in the head. That thought went through my head. So I looked over and I saw the ceramic cat bowl dishes. So I grabbed that and I smashed it over his head. And he let me go. And when I went to run, he had got up and he grabbed me from like by the back of the hair and he was throwing me down. And I remember screaming. And right when I started screaming for help, like the bridge is right down the street and that's where everyone meets and the fireworks go off right there. Right when I start trying to scream for help, the fireworks start going off.
Holy shit.
Damn.
And I was like, not only can no one hear my screams over the fireworks, no one's home to hear my screams, even if they could, because everyone's down watching the fireworks.
Oh my God.
So I was like, I literally need to get myself out of this situation myself. Like, it's one of those things where all of a sudden you're in that situation and you can't believe you're in this situation. Like, it's real. Like, it's real now. Like, it's really real. And, like, Josh doesn't know what he's doing. And, yeah, so that was fucked up. And long story short, police came. I wouldn't write a statement. He left. And then I moved in the next day. Mark had his own apartment at the time that he had for like a year. And he found out about what happened. And he's like, I have a spare bedroom. He's like, you can come live with me until you get on your feet. So I lived with Mark for like another year or two. And then I met Joe.
Holy shit.
That's crazy.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry you had to go through such things.
Yeah, well, you know, there wouldn't be joy without pain.
That is true. It's just sad for sure. So obviously this time of your life you're not in the greatest place. You're staying with your, you know, separated husband, ex-husband, or whatever.
Yeah, we were separated at the time. We still hadn't gone through a full divorce on papers yet at that point. I think we did like a year after Joe and I got together, or like maybe 6 months after Joe and I got together. Mark and I finalized it.
And you're just, I mean, obviously you're in a bad place. This shit just happened. Like, holy shit, how could you not be in a bad place? Like, you're partying, having a good time. So what?
You know, it's honestly like, I'm just a cup half full kind of person. I look at it like a blessing in disguise, because even though I was back living with Mark again, Mark's not abusive. And I went through a really traumatic year relationship with Josh. Like, he was not stable to be in a relationship. And he's really a good person. He went through some rehabs a couple times in the last 6 years and had reached out to me a few years ago. And part of one of his programs was to make amends with everyone he's wronged. And he, you know, apologized, and he heard the song White Lights and he asked if it was about that. And I said, well, not everything is about that, but it was stemmed from that experience. Yes, it was me getting that experience out. Yeah. And he apologized, and you know, I have to take that, because there's something that I learned. I'm not very godly, but I do believe in spiritually. You know, I'm spiritual, and I think that when you forgive people, you don't forgive them necessarily for them. You're forgiving them for yourself, because to hold and walk around with that hatred and negativity within you is just gonna dim your light.
No, absolutely. No, you're right. That's
so
awesome.
I forgave him, and we talk every, like, maybe once a year. We'll chat or something for a few minutes, and you know, I just hope he gets better, and I wish him well. And I know he didn't mean it. I know it was the drugs. I've seen the good person he can be.
Yeah. No, it's great that you have such a positive outlook, but it's still, you know, unfortunate that you had to experience such things. You don't deserve that.
Yeah.
So here you are in a strange part of life, not really sure where you're going, where you're headed. You're drinking, you know, doing drugs, just kind of existing.
Yeah, when I was living with Mark, I wasn't really drinking much. Then I got into pain pills. I was snorting 30s a lot, and doing cocaine. And yeah, I was drinking. I was drinking like on the weekends, though. every weekend, but that's still a lot. Like people, I mean, I know a lot of people drink more than that are listening, but you know, once you stop drinking for a while, you realize that drinking every weekend is actually kind of a lot. Not that it's a bad thing as long as you can control yourself, but I wasn't controlling myself.
For sure. So
I was also doing mass amounts of cocaine.
Yeah, that's never good. It's not good for you at all. So I guess as the story goes, you're gonna have to tell me because it's your story. But so you find a Joe Bruce on Facebook and decide to send him a friend request and a message. Tell me how that went. How does that go?
Well, I don't really ever accept people that I don't immediately know on Facebook, and I saw him pop up, and it was like a picture I had never seen before with him with no face paint. Y'all know the picture, him in that brown flannel.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
And
the old.
I was like, this probably isn't him, and it said Joe Bruce. I was like, this probably isn't him, but I'm gonna friend request it anyways. I'll just delete it later, tomorrow or something. And then by tomorrow, Fago Lovers came out and said that it is Joe Bruce. And I look, and he accepted my friend request. I was like, wow, he accepted my friend request. Wow. And I was like, and it's really him? No way. And I was like, I'm gonna send him a letter. So I sent him this letter, and it said like, you know, thank you for all the years of music and everything you've done. I know all my friends because of you. And, you know, I used to be going through a really hard time. And, you know, my friends and the music really are like an outlet for me. You know what I mean? It's like the good time. It's like the light at the end of the dark tunnel when I get to go to a show or stuff like that. You know, when I get to see my friends, it's like the light at the end of the dark tunnel. Like ICP, the Juggalo community, the carnival. That's what it is for me. It's like instead of cutting, now I had this.
It was your release,
and,
the one thing you had to look forward to in your.
Yeah, it was something that I had to look forward to. Yeah, it's something that I could invest in. You know what I mean? It was a constant. It was finally a constant in my life, and I didn't have much of that ever. So I just like pretty much said that, and I sent it to him. And like, I think it was like, I don't know, a couple days later, he was like, wow, thank you so much for that beautiful letter. I really appreciate it. He said something short back, but it was like, he was just really, really appreciative that I wrote him that, and like, blah, blah. And I like was starstruck. I couldn't believe he messaged me back. And I didn't want to seem like a hound dog, so I just left it at that. I didn't message him back. I just left it at that. And then like, a couple days go by, and it's like a Sunday, and I wake up and I have a message from him, and it goes, how's Becky doing on this fine ass Sunday? And I was like, oh my God, I freaked out. And I was like, called Laura, and I was like, what do I say? Like, do I reply? He has a wife. And she's like, yeah, she's like, you probably shouldn't say anything. And so I ended up replying. I couldn't not. I ended up replying. I was like, you know, I'm good. I said something about him having a wife. You know, like, I don't know if you, you know, I'm not really interested, you know. And he's like, that's when he sent me the Hatchet Herald about how him and Michelle had split up a few months earlier.
Yeah.
And
he was on Facebook.
Funny you should mention that.
Right, yeah. He was there
Why?
with the intentions to find women, and he publicly admitted that.
Yeah, well, that's what he said. He said he asked Otis and them how people meet girls these days, and they said get a Facebook.
Well, it worked.
So they made him a Facebook.
Shout out to Otis.
He deleted it after he met me, and he hasn't had one since. But yeah, so we started talking a little bit and just kind of getting to know each other. And, you know, because I was living with Mark. Me and Mark weren't sleeping together or being together. We were still separated. Like, I had my own bedroom and stuff. But, like, it was still, I'm sure, like, he was really upset when I left. Like, Joe came and, like, helped me get my stuff from his house. He wasn't, like, upset, like, I think he was upset just because me and him had been, like, together since I was 16. And now I'm 25. So that's, like, 10 years almost. And I'm moving away to Michigan. You know what I mean? Like, he was happy for me, but he was, like, sad at the same time.
Right.
And
hold on, you jumped way ahead. You just met this guy on Facebook. What's he doing? Coming to get your stuff and taking you to Michigan.
Well, no. So we met. So we're talking on Facebook for like, we're talking on Facebook for like a week or so, and he starts asking me if he could fly me out to Michigan to go on a date with him. And I was like, listen, I might know who you are and like love you for who you are, but I don't know you. Like, you could be a weirdo. Right. Like, I don't know you. I don't even leave my house to let my dog go pee. That's how much depression and anxiety I have.
How long do you actually know for sure it was him?
Huh?
How long? Like, I know, like, you said Fagel Lovers had shared that he was actually on there, but, like, even that, like, just getting a Facebook message from someone that says they're Violent J, like, were you even sure you were talking to the right guy for a while?
I guess not. Now that you put it like that, I mean, I just believed it because Fagel Lovers said it, and I was naive back then.
Yeah.
And so it very well could have not been, but it ended up being.
It really was.
Anyways, I wasn't about to fly out to no fucking Michigan. I don't even go outside my house. Like, I don't fucking think so.
Right.
And finally, I told him, like, he wouldn't let up. He's very persistent. And finally, I told him, I said, okay, listen, if you come to Maine, I'll go on a date with you. That motherfucker flew out the next day, got a hotel, got a car service. Didn't even rent a car for him to drive. He got a car service to drive us around.
That's fucking
and took me out on a date. And the fanciest place we got in that town is Buffalo Wild Wings. So we went there.
Hey, I love me some B-dubs.
Yeah, me too. Or I used to. I don't really like it anymore. It's kind of gross.
I don't even eat meat and I still like B-dubs.
Yeah, I used to like they had these garlic mushrooms, breaded mushrooms.
Those are good.
And they had a Southwest sauce and stuff, but they got discontinued them forever ago.
Damn, that's pretty amazing. He can hop on a plane the next flight, but he can't show up for concerts. I don't get it.
Like, which concerts though? Because some people will bitch. Like in Birmingham, Alabama, one day, we were there on tour. Bus pulled up, and the show was that night, and he canceled it, and everyone had a conniption. Well, he canceled it because he had to fly home immediately because JJ was only 13 years old at the time, and he fell off of something and shattered his leg.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Damn.
Okay, so if there's shows canceled, best believe Joe's usually got a damn good reason.
Fair enough.
Better check
just
yourself,
saying,
Rue.
not to. I'm just saying,
damn.
People don't.
Oh,
you're right. People
I'm not saying every time. I'm not saying every single time, but the majority of the time,
Most
he's
likely.
got damn good reasons.
It just sucks that there seems to be a lot of cancellations
Well, I don't know as of lately. I mean, I haven't been around for a while now. He's been with Lainey for, I don't know, it's getting there already. They've been together since like
off and on for a minute.
after Gathering.
Sure.
Or shortly after Gathering, they got together. What's after August?
September.
Yeah, they got together in September.
He's like, I don't know the specific date, but it was definitely September 14th for sure.
Well, because
said, what's after August was the question.
Well, no, because I hung out with him, not romantically, but I helped him at Gathering this last year, and he hadn't met Lainey yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. But he just met you in our story. You guys are on your first date. You're at Buffalo Wild Wings enjoying some fine boneless wings and some pictures of their finest ale. How did it go?
No, he didn't drink. We didn't drink.
Bullshit. I don't know what he had.
Maybe we drank. We might have drank.
So what was that
I don't know. He wasn't
experience
ever
like?
a big drinker.
Like I'm saying, like, what was that like? Like, we just kind of heard the cliff notes of your life story. Like,
well,
now you're on a date.
He wants to pretend it was him on a date with Joe.
Okay, I'll put it in a fan perspective. I'm at my best friend's house. Violent J, the Duke of the Wicked, has just flown in one day to take me, Becky, on a date. He rented us a car, and he's going to arrive any minute now. I'm sitting on the couch, nervous, butterflies in my stomach. What the fuck am I even doing? I haven't gone on a date in years. Should I even do this? Is it even going to be him when he shows up? What if it's some creepy guy? Oh my God, the car's pulling up. The car pulls up. I go outside. He comes out. he comes out of the back seat on the passenger side and walks around the back of the car. His shirt's unbuttoned. It sweeps open a little bit, so it's kind of geeky. And he reaches out his hand to give me a handshake. And he's moving quite fast. Like, he's definitely nervous, too. And then he gives me a hug, and we get in the car, and we just start talking. We've always had really good conversation. We didn't even eat our food at Buffalo Wild Wings. That's why in the Hatchet Herald he talks about me walking around with doggy bags. Because, motherfucker, I know you've been rich and famous for damn near your whole life, and you're just used to, not taking stuff home. But I'm a po-ass bitch, and my best friend's got 2 kids, and we didn't eat any of this food. I'm taking it home. So we just talked. And we talked about, like, do I want kids? Would I ever have kids? Am I okay with kids? And he's like, we both were kind of like, and I was asking him questions like that too and stuff. And we were both kind of like, it's not weird because of our age, and we don't really have time to be wasting. I would hate to be like, he doesn't want to have another kid, but I really want to have another kid. And then 3 years into the relationship, we realize this, Right. So it's good to get that kind of stuff out of the way. Those big lines, you know what I mean? Like the not the red flags, but what is it called when something's like a no-go?
I know what you're saying. I don't.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't have the word for it, but I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. So we were talking about stuff like that.
The shit that's important to me. Let's get it. You're doing like a relationship checklist. Like, is this gonna work out, or are we wasting our time?
Yeah, is this gonna work out, or is it not? You know what I mean? I don't have time to be fucking wasting here. And then he's like, "Yeah, let's go see your friends. Let's go to that bar and see your friends." I was like, "Oh my god, okay." Like, that's what I was dreading. So we go to the dive bar, which is the Acme that we always go to, and my friends are there, and my friend Tammy, the one that introduced me to everything, is there. And I never even told her that I even talked to Jay. So all of a sudden I walk up, she's playing pool, and I walk up to her, and she turns around, and I point to Joe, and I go, "Tamron, this is Violent J." And she looks at him, and she looks at me, and her eyes well up with tears, and she goes, "No, it's not." And I go, "Yes, it is." And he's like, "Yeah, it is." And she goes, "No, it's not." And she just starts hugging him. It was the cutest thing ever. And then the first thing they do you know Becky Raps? And it was all snowball from there.
Oh,
it's a fucking snowball to an avalanche from there.
So they just hopped up on stage, said, "Play the karaoke, DJ." And it was just
no. Then he wanted to hear me rap.
Right.
We went back to his hotel room. We talked about if I would want to become a rapper, if that's something I was interested in, what my look would be, what my character would be, what I would want to portray, what I would want to talk about, like just everything. We were just conversating, And then I made him turn all the lights off, and we laid on the bed in silence, and I made him listen to Beethoven, not Beethoven, I made him listen to Clair de Lune.
Why?
Which is a classical.
Why?
To meditate.
Music. Well, I just like classical, and I don't know why I made him do that, but he did it.
Who knows? It may have meant a lot to him.
I'm sure it did.
And we talked like the whole night. We talked like the whole night, and then we laid there for a little while and kind of rested our eyes. And then the next morning, I went home. We didn't sleep together because my moral thing is not on the first date.
She doesn't fuck on the first date.
Nope.
No,
well, that's why he had to have a date number 2.
Yep.
You guys have met Violent J, I think, or at least heard him speak. He had to go for number 2. So at this point, obviously you guys hit it off good. Things were going great. 2 people falling in love, or what have you. So what kind of when did the, obviously you even said you talked about it on the first night. So when did the Blase talk? How did that whole thing come about? Because I know a lot of people listening know, at least after the fact they might know, that was the female rapper was kind of a thing that he had been looking for a long time. Like, they tried to get Whitney Payton.
I didn't know that.
They tried to get Whitney Payton to be the first.
I had no idea.
Well, I mean, you didn't know that now, or you didn't know that at the time?
No, I didn't know that then.
Well, yeah, I didn't think you did, but I'm saying so. Like, when did that conversation come up with you? Like, when did it become like a real conversation? Like,
when was Blase born?
Like, how did that whole thing come into play?
That night.
Just that night, you were like, yeah, let's do it.
He was talking. He said something, blase, blase, and I was like, "What's that mean?" I'd never heard that expression before, and I was like, "Why doesn't that be my name, blase, blase?" Because I asked about Tippy. He said, "No, something new and fresh." And I was like, "Okay, what about blase, blase?" Because he had said that word, and I never heard it before. And we looked it up, and it was already a hip hop group. So we were like, "Okay, well, what about?" He's like, "What about like a flower or something?" And I was like, "Rose." And he's like, "Yeah, Blase Rose." And I was like, "I like Blase Rose. That goes off the tongue. So I like the way Blase rolls off the tongue." And I like roses. So that was that. And I was like, I always wanted the half black, half long hair, but it was supposed to be half black, half blonde hair, but it was supposed to be long. And he's like, before, my hair was long and brown at the time, really long, and it was all natural at the time. And he's like, before you do anything drastic to your hair, he's like, why don't we buy a bunch of wigs and you can try them on and see how you like it, and then we can do something to your hair. And lo and behold, he really wanted me to do the short hair, and I was like, no, I fought him on it so hard. And then he's like, he made me buy one short-haired wig, and that's the one I ended up liking. And then the wig was born.
It was born. Blase was
the wig was born because at first I didn't want to cut and dye my hair that short. I was scared to. And then I ended up cutting it short. And then I ended up just dyeing it all kinds of colors, but half black and white, until the Juggalo day in Florida. That was my real hair.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shit. So, I'm just trying to put it all together. So how does a conversation in a hotel room on the first date turn into a real life contract with Psychopathic Records? And
so he went home. He stayed one more night, and then he ended up going home. And then he told Jump Steady and Joey and Billy about me, and he's like, I want to see you again. So then I would fly out to him. I guess I will, now that I know you and I know it's you, I'll fly out. So I flew out there, and he's like, we're gonna put you in the studio, and he's like, they need proof. He's like, you need to record a couple tracks, a demo that I can show them, to show them you've got what it takes. So I went there and we recorded Broken and Bulimic Becky and Toolbox, I believe.
Wow. And so were these
like a version of it? It was like a rough version of it.
Now, were those songs that you had, like, is that things raps you had already written or poems you had already wrote?
No.
So how did you guys create those songs together? Like, how did that?
I just wrote them.
Just right then?
They got me beats, and I just wrote them in the Lotus Pod.
Wow. That's awesome. So
right there.
So everybody else was they were on board? Like, everyone's like, this shit's dope?
Yeah, Joey said he's like, when around the time they kicked me off the label, Joey had said to me, he's like, I know you have the talent. He's like, I've always thought you have the talent. He's like, I just don't feel like you want this. Like, it's not something that you want, And I don't even know if he's right, because then once I figured out what it all entails, I don't know if it's something I really want, you know what I mean? But then it goes back to both the people it helps makes it worth it, you know what I mean? The people who do enjoy it, the lives that I do get to touch, do make it worth it, That's what I want.
No, absolutely. So I mean, that's like, obviously that was once it got announced anyway, it was a strange time for you. But like, what was it like leading up to that? Like before the Juggalo world knew about Blase Rose, obviously you were working, you were in the studio, things were happening. Like, what was that like? Like, you're like, at this point, something you didn't even know you wanted, or maybe you weren't sure about, was kind of becoming a reality. You were an artist on Psychopathic Records. Like, what was going on in your mind? Like, what was this life like for you? What were you thinking? Like, how crazy was it?
How crazy was everything? Like, my whole life's just been crazy. I don't even know. Like, half the time I think I'm in a dream.
Right. But we were just talking about how you're in the trailer and you're getting picked on at school and shit's going on with the counselor. Now here you are flying to Michigan with a recording contract with
I know. I feel like I got in a car accident somewhere and I am in a coma. I still think about it to this day. Like my ex-boyfriend's Violent J. What happened? I lived in his house and like, what?
Right. So was that
it's just like?
So was that a big thing for like Joey and Rob and Bill if he makes decisions that when
the four of them make the decisions. Yeah.
Obviously they wanted you to prove yourself in the studio, but like when you got announced to the Juggalos, there was a lot of hate. Like she sucked dick for a label, for a contract, all that bullshit. But were they kind of on not obviously that, but like you're Joe's girlfriend. You have to like really prove yourself because of that reason. Was like
absolutely. I think so. I feel like that. Yeah, probably. I mean, I never really got to know. They don't ever really hang out. Like they don't hang out, the four of them, because they work together and they've been working together for so many years. They don't like hang out and like do like lots of holidays and parties and stuff together. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I didn't really get to know the other guys very much. I mean, Rob and Billy a little bit, but I really didn't get to know Joey. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say this stuff either, and I don't really care anymore. But Joey's wife didn't really like me after a while. And I think it's because of all the hatred, and she just kind of thought like maybe this was a mistake. I don't know. She could never give a real explanation of why she didn't like me. I'm sure she will come up with something now if she listens to this, but so yeah, that was kind of like a kind of dagger, you know what I mean? Because Joey's so important to Joe. I really wanted to have a positive relationship with him and his wife and like their family, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially when you're in a relationship with his best friend.
Yeah. So that was hard, that was a hard thing because I really did want to have a positive relationship with her and with them, and so that was like a big hard, really hard part of it. And that was probably after like the first year or so.
So, but I mean, besides that, like, I mean, obviously, but things were fairly good in the relationship portion of you guys. But so now you're working on this record as an artist. Like, I know you were with like Otis a lot and some other people in the studio. Like, what was that like? Like, that was your first experience recording and doing anything like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, I had recorded it on a recording mic in the bathroom at our house and stuff like that, but never in a real studio and stuff. And I had met Otis before, so it wasn't weird seeing him. Well, yeah. I'm not really starstruck by people a lot.
Yeah. Well, I didn't
you know what I mean? Like I've met quite a few famous people being with Joe, and I've never really been like starstruck where I'm like off my rocker. Like after meeting him, I didn't like it wasn't like a big deal. Because I realized they're just normal people, because I knew Joe, and like Joe's like the biggest famous guy in the fucking world to me, and it's like, well, he's just normal, just an average Joe.
Literally.
Well, he's not average. He's very special. He's a very special guy, but still, you know what I mean?
But he's just a person. We're all just people.
He eats, shits, and bleeds like the rest of us.
Yeah, we're all just humans. But I don't know. Sorry, these people are asking weird questions. So then is he saying anything in here? Is because I'm trying not to. No, nobody said anything crazy. Someone when you were talking about Renee, someone said maybe it's because she likes Michelle, which could
maybe it's because well, her and Michelle were not friends before Joe and Michelle split up. Mm-hmm. They did not like each other either. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Gotcha.
Kind of situation.
But yeah, that's
again. Don't know if I'm supposed to say any of this or if I'm gonna get in trouble. I don't really care.
I don't see why you get in trouble, but it's not anybody's business.
Well, you know.
Anyway. So yeah, so you finished the record. Like what was going on? Like like, what was the plan? Was there like obviously there was a big rollout, like you had this character of Blahzay Roze, which is, you know, partially you and partially, you know, the character. Like, you guys are getting ready to announce it to the Juggalos.
I think out of all the psychopathic characters that they've ever come out with, mine was the closest to me. For sure. Like, it might not have been, like, I might have been wearing contacts and a fucking wig, but, like, I wasn't really playing a character. I was a really hurt, broken, abused, trauma-filled individual when I came out, and I was expressing all that pain in my music, because the best thing to do is let other people know that they're not alone, because you feel your depression manipulates you into thinking that there's something wrong with you and you're alone in this battle and no one will understand. But it's lying.
Right. No, for sure. Yeah, I know that was it. I feel like a lot of the, you know, that obviously we only have the one EP, but like, I feel like it was a lot of the people that didn't receive it well when it came out, in retrospect, realized what it was more so than, you know, the initial reaction. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because like everyone's like, oh, you're the, you know, you're
people jumped on the bandwagon before they even knew. So many people are like, oh, it's all about rape. They didn't even listen to it. Besides, in the chat right now, if you're one of the people that say, I didn't listen to Blahzay Roze because it's all about rape, besides the song Raped at 15, out of the 7 tracks on that EP, which other song is about rape? Besides the one named Raped at 15. So you can totally skip that song.
I do.
So like, they're literally making it up that it's all about rape. Like, no, it's not. You didn't even listen to it. You listened to what somebody said about it, and then everyone jumped on that fucking bandwagon, and they all thought they knew something. And it was the trend. The trend was to shit on Blahzay Roze. It fucking trended, and everyone thought they were cool if they shit on me because I was the loser.
Absolutely. You're so
in a group of people that aren't supposed to have losers and outcasts. In a group of people that brought me out of feeling like a loser and an outcast, brought me right back in to feeling like a loser and an outcast. It was so confusing to me as a human being.
I can't even imagine, because a lot of people didn't like, not to stick up for the people who were hating because they were wrong, but people just believed what they heard and nobody knew the story. So people are assuming you got a record deal because you're Violent J's girlfriend. People are assuming that you didn't write these tracks because you're not a rapper. So why are we getting these and Juggalos aren't used to that type of music, that side of the story from a female perspective, like all these things.
I know. I was a juggalo. I was a juggalo for what? I found out when I was 13, and I was 26 when I became a rapper. So for how many years is that? 7?
September.
From 13 to 26 is 13 years.
13 years.
Yeah, 13 years. I was a juggalo for 13 years. I was that juggalo. You know, I was in the world.
Absolutely. No.
I've never seen them react that way to anybody that came out on Psychopathic that hard. Not that hard. People were death threatening me. People were contacting my family, telling them my mom that she should have had abortion.
Jesus Christ.
With me. Like, people don't know the extent of the abuse that I went through with some of these haters. They made Facebook pages. You know, the memes didn't really bother me. Everything kind of bothered me at first because I didn't know how to handle it. You know, I was like, wait, these are my people. These are my people. And they think that I'm like this brand new chick. Like, they don't fucking know. Like, I don't know how to talk to them all. Like, I don't know how to talk to everybody and be like, whoa, You know, it's like it was like the hazing all over again.
Only on a
Like he's
bigger,
just a juggalo.
bigger fucking level, to the extreme. That's How could anybody know how to handle that? So I don't know if you can remember, but it's just like, so the year prior, obviously everybody know, well, most people know you were obviously at the gathering. You've been to several gatherings. You're doing the Juggalo thing. A lot of people, you know, pulled up the wet t-shirt contest from the year before. Like, obviously you're already a juggalette. You're out there doing your thing. A year later, we get the announcement on the main stage about Blahzay Roze. They hand out the CD at the seminar. Like, I'm assuming, like, prior to that point, it was like all positive. Like, you're like, oh shit, this is really going down. Like, what kind of happened? Like, do you remember like how everything just kind of went crazy, or?
No, it wasn't really much of it. Wasn't positive at all. I'm at home. I had started moving to Detroit. My friend crew, I was like the glue, I guess, because they all started falling apart. My sister got separated from her fiance. Mark and my ex-husband and my best friend got together, which I didn't really care about. I still don't really care about, but it's so weird. And like everybody just fell apart. Everything fell apart back home. And then like once I dropped, like all my friends turned against me, like Chuck Reeves and stuff, and other people were trying to buy information off my old friends about me to make hate videos and stuff. And like it was just
Jesus.
It was a terrible experience, really, except for those few peppered in messages over the years from people who got it, who understood me.
10 out of 10.
My day ones, they all know who they are. My day ones, I love you.
I feel like there's more. I think there's a lot of that out there that you know you may not have gotten, or people, because there's a lot of people that still, you know, like you said, some people have came around, but like, you know, even people in the chat are talking like, K-Pasta says,
Chuck Reeves apologized to me. Me and Chuck had a really long, good conversation. And like he's been really positive on all my pictures now. He's like one of the first people to comment on my pictures saying "you go girl" and stuff like that. Like, it's just weird, but it's like when I talked to him, he said that his mother recently passed away. And he said I'm just, you know, sick of things and I just want to do better, essentially. You know, he's just at that point in his life where it's growth. I think a lot of people are, you know.
Well, we're all getting older.
And I appreciate it.
You know?
I appreciate it. I'm all for forgiveness. You know what I mean? I'm all for forgiveness. People, I don't care who you are or what situation you're in or what you're doing or what you've done. We're all really just doing the best we can or the best we know how with what cards we've been dealt.
Most of us.
The majority of us. There's like 1% that...
Yeah, there's something to say. There's some actual just straight up bad people out there. But,
that is true.
Well, there is, but what circumstances they come from to become bad like that, though? Not that it's an excuse, true. But you can't take someone that was from an abused home. Even, you know, a pedophile that, because not saying being a pedophile is a good thing, but if you were a pedophile that you grew up in a home where you were molested and then you end up being a pedophile, like, that person does not know any better. That person was a little child being molested, and they think that they were conditioned into thinking that that's okay. And that they know it's not okay, but their brain manipulates them. It's a sickness. People are sick out there. Everybody's sick.
Get help. Get help.
Get some help.
Get some help.
Get some goddamn help.
K-Pasta in the chat room said a minute ago, he said it many times, Psychopathic didn't deserve you, Becky. You had the potential to create what you have now all on your own.
Yes, and you know, Joe has actually said something like that too. He said when I sent him the Trine EP and stuff, he listened to it and he said, Becky, you know, if you don't quote me, but in a nutshell, he said, Becky, you know, if you get in the studio and you let any motherfucker at all try to influence or tell you how to make your music, even me, he's like, you'd be doing yourself a discredit at this point. He's like, you know exactly what you're doing.
Right. There you go.
I'm like, because of you though, because of him, because of the years with him and Joey, like Joey's like, Joe taught me the 4 count. That's the biggest thing that Joe ever taught me was the 4 count. And Joey taught me when I would try to put in syllables, when I would have a syllable missing, he's like, you don't need to add another word. He's like, just draw a word out an extra syllable. I was like, and it like clicked. Like I've done it before, but I didn't think to do it then. And now I think to do it now.
If you learn, you're taking away positives from, all the negativity and the chaos and all that stuff. You came out a better person. Yeah,
I did. I needed it. I needed to go through all this.
So,
I needed it. It was hell. But the struggle breeds greatness.
Exactly.
So what happened next? So the record, you get announced. They play the video. Obviously, there was a lot of speculation on why you didn't perform, and we touched on that. Them kind of protecting you because they didn't know what to do. The record comes out. You get negative feedback. You get positive feedback. Whatever's going on. I'm sure that was expected. Like. You know what I mean? Like, even when Twisted came out way back in the day, people hated on them for a long time before they became as popular as they were. I'm assuming that was expected with you, but obviously there was turmoil. Things were happening in your relationship. Things were happening. Like, what was going on behind the scenes? What was happening? What kind of ended that relationship? Not only with I guess you and Joe were having problems, but obviously you and Psychopathic as well. And it seemed to come pretty quickly. So, like, what was kind of going on in that time?
Joe and I broke up.
That was it?
Joe and I just broke up again. It was pretty much it. We went through a real big breakup. I don't even remember over what we broke up so many times over the years. And, and then they just were like, this is just too much. I agree. For like Joey, Billy, and Rob, it was me being unmanageable because it was just the battle of Joe and Becky breaking up all the time, and now they have to coexist together with bad blood on tours and stuff. So it was just like all too much for them, and they were just like, we got to let her go. Like, the relationship got in the way of it.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if with everybody being so tight knit, you go into a room and it's like kind of makes an awkward situation. Like, what do we do with our hands?
We can't have studio if you're just gonna break up.
But to not make it sound like it was all them, for sure. I was very hard to work with. I was going through a lot of issues at the time. When Joe met me, I was unmedicated on having depression, anxiety, BPD, all kinds of issues. I was just getting medicated during those times. I was dealing with all the stress of all the haters, losing all my friends, moving to a new area, new relationship. Just a lot of stuff, a lot of new stuff, a lot of stuff ending all at the same time. It was kind of a overload, and I took it out a lot on everybody around me.
It makes for a very toxic creative environment. I mean, I can't imagine it.
Very.
That it's very hard to make good creative stuff when all that shit's going on that you have to deal with mentally.
So at that time, you and Joe break up. Whatever it is, what it is. We don't got to talk about all your personal issues with each other, but. From my understanding, and tell me if this is true or not, they released a statement that, Blase Roze is no longer on Psychopathic. She's unmanageable. That same statement was how you found out that you were no longer on Psychopathic?
Yeah.
Oof.
That sucks.
That's
crazy.
I was in Maine at the time, and I called Rob, or I texted Rob right away, and I was like crying, and I was like, you guys couldn't have fucking called me and told me that you were about to post this message. Like, I had to find out from a text message, and they did apologize, but it was still fucked up.
That's
that was move. Probably the most fucked up thing they did is not call me and at least let me know that they were going to post that message. That's how I found out. At least fucking tell me.
That's like ghosting somebody because you don't want to tell them something. I'm just not going to answer their phone call because it makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't want to do it.
No, that whole thing seems terrible to me.
Yeah.
But I was very explosive at the time, so who knows what they thought I might have done if they would have told me first.
For sure. So
what
was the plan after that? So here you are.
Like I said, we're all just doing the best we can.
But you're growing from all of these things, and you're trying to be a better person.
Least,
I mean, eventually, but it takes time. Like I said, it takes a while to, for some things to realize that, oh shit, fuck. But the main thing is that you're trying to be a better person. I know I'm going through the same shit. What? Oh, but yeah, I mean, the main thing is just you always try to make tomorrow better than today.
Amen.
My freaking phone is like at 10%. Hold on, I gotta make sure I don't have apps up because I have it plugged in, but it like keeps like not going and stuff. But anyways, keep going.
You're gonna die on us. That ain't no good.
Yeah, well, I was gonna try to look up some information, and I was hoping it was gonna be a certain number. So, hold on.
So when all this happened, they announced that you're no longer in the label. You and Joe broke up at the time, and obviously, we know you've had your ups and downs since then. But at that moment, like, what was the plan? What was the idea? Like, was Blahzay gonna keep going? Were you gonna keep doing your thing?
So a rose takes up to 3 years from a seed to its first bloom. Just saying.
So
I'm a rose, Blahzay rose.
We gotta give you at least 3
growing,
years to
growth.
I think it's been 3 years though. You should be good. To
it's been 6. Yeah, I'm flourishing now. You guys.
She's a bush.
You've already like whittled away and grew back.
She's a bush.
Yeah, well, you should get rid of that.
Seasons. But anyways, what were you asking?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Like what were you gonna do next? You're a rapper, regardless of how good or bad it is, or the pain that came with it from all the hate from the Juggalos who were supposed to love you, and now you're dropped from the label, which almost solidifies the people's hate. What was the plan? What were you gonna do next? Like where were you at then? Were you back to where you started?
Well, I was just chilling in my misery contently until Angel and Roxy came around and awakened me from my crypt and said, "Bitch, you gotta make some fucking music."
So you just been chilling in your sadness until they kind of got. I mean, I know you released like a couple tracks here and there, but I don't know.
No, I haven't really released anything since I've been off Psychopathic. Have I? Every word.
Yeah, there was like
that's
3,
it, though,
but they're
right?
like gone now. Coroner's exam, every word.
Yeah, but that's old. That's old. That's nothing new.
It was new released. It was new to the public.
That's right. No, you're right. Coroner's exam. I thought you meant corner store.
No. Coroner's exam. And there was another one too. Bite the Bullet.
Sleep Creeper.
Oh yeah, that one too.
Sleep Creeper was on Psychopathic though, I think, wasn't it? I was still with Joe when I came out.
Yeah, it was released on
songs,
something. Yeah.
So we'll just say the era of Psychopathic since I've been with Joe. This is the first project. Trine is the first project I've done
first official
independently, or without Psychopathic or Joe's help. You know what I mean? He did hook Angel and I up with a day of studio while I was in Kentucky one day because we needed to get our shit done, and I was like, Joe will know a studio. They got connects. So.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, creatively and financially, we've done everything trying ourselves.
So I have to ask you before I forget. The homeboy DC Fago guy would kill me if I didn't. What does the acronym stand for?
For Trine.
What does the acronym stand for? Oh no, I don't know if I'm supposed to say yet.
Is it a secret?
I don't know if it's a secret. I think it's kind of a secret. It's like it's in the plan. It's just like a thing. I don't know if I should say yet.
If it is a secret,
Tippy,
just tell us half.
It's Tippy, Roxy, Inanna. Gunther! Shut the fuck up!
Gunther, we love you. Calm down. Don't listen to her.
Hey, Millie. Shut your little whore mouth. Millie.
So it just represents your guys' names, the Trinity. Is that the idea? Until more is revealed. Until more is. So there could be more. There could be more to it. There is more to it. You there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What?
Okay, so let's talk about Trine. Obviously, the album came out 2/22/22. The EP out of nowhere. A lot of people weren't expecting it. Roxy Red is most known for 2 things, I believe. One is her marriage, or former marriage, and the other is for a Blase Rose diss track.
Mm-hmm.
So how did this combination come about? How did you?
Well, Ryan and I used to be cool, and before he dragged me through to hurt Roxy through their fucking divorce, like a piece of shit would. Anyways, and I think something was going on, and people were saying something, and like before, everyone was doing like little shows about it. And before CPN did, I would call CPN and I'd be like, this is like the real story. You know what I mean? Because CPN, he always did me a solid. Whenever I would tell him stuff, he kept it confidential unless I told him he could use the information. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he always respected that. So I found out he was married to Roxy, and I think something was happening. I can't remember what though, something stupid. And I called him up. And I was talking to him about it for a few minutes, and I was like, so I heard you married Roxy Red. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, is she with you right now? And he's like, yeah, she's right here in the car with me, sitting next to me. And I was like, put her on the phone.
Oh, that doesn't sound like it's going to go well.
Well, no, of course you're. I'm an Aries. That's just how I do. Put her on the phone. And she's like, hello. And I was like, so what's up? Are we cool or are we beefing still? She's like, no, dude. She's like, I'm sorry. She's like, I actually feel really bad about the diss track. She's like, that's not like, that's so out of character for me and not who I am. And like, I've actually meant to apologize for you. And I actually deleted it already. I took it down and da-da-da. And she was just cool. And like, now that I know her, it does seem so out of character for her to do something like that.
Well, jumping on the Blahzay hate train, it was weird because I was a fan.
Yeah, she admitted, she said she used the name she's like, 'cause everyone, you were hot at the time. She's like, so I used your name for clout.
I mean, that's real though.
That's what we doing right now.
Hey! No, that's not what we're doing. But
so yeah, again, growth, just growth.
Yeah, that whole hate train was weird. Like watching everybody, like all the people that participated in it, I'm like, it's just weird. Like, why are you hating on her? Like, I mean, I don't know why it became so popular to hate on you. Like, I mean, I get why people were like, oh, this, that, and the other, but it's like everybody wanted to do it. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you guys are just wanting to be part of the crowd. A lot
of it starts as a joke.
Yeah, but
then it turns into real fucking.
I think
shit.
people just wanted to be involved. I think they just like, oh, everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at
like
me.
Memes on the internet, like it's the same, but it's like it's supposed somebody may have did it as joke, or they said some stupid shit like you suck dick, like as a crack, and then it becomes a rumor, and then all of a sudden people believe it as fact, and then people just dislike shit because of somebody making an ignorant joke out of fun, because we communicate in 1 second now and people say stupid shit.
And people in real life are different than the people they see on the screen, and it's
a show.
I think it was way more hateful because it was on a screen. You didn't see the person, and it also was like, oh, I'm involved, and like, oh, we're all fucking getting real mean with this. It's so much fun, and
and clickbait,
clickbait and clout.
Like she said, people literally found things to like hate on and shit.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. I think it just got so blown up so quick that like there was.
Kate Pat said the Mid-South monster goes random Juggalo article. Blase hates dogs. I've seen stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've seen stuff like that. I've seen this girl used to go on all the stuff that I would do for animals, and she'd be like, "You're just faking it so people think you're nice." And I'm like, what?
666 says, what's up?
What's up, Triple?
Hey, Trip. Mandy. Is she on there? Is she on the chat?
Yeah.
Well, Kyle is, so yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay.
They listening.
Oh, okay. Trip 6 says, what's up?
They listening. She probably got a headache from going to the rave show last night or whatever.
Oh my god, I totally went to a fucking like rave thing at Poor Boys. It's like this gay bar down here, and my friend Steven brought me. And he's like, yeah, you've been in the house for weeks. Get out of the house. Come. And I was like, okay. And I went, and it was phenomenal.
Larry Wallace says, female influence is needed in a world with too much sausages. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I'd agree with that. So you guys, and you had linked up with Inanna prior to that, because the gang shit track was actually released long before Trine. You guys performed it.
Not long before. It was Least Gathering.
Well, in music terms, that's a long time ago.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, not really, but it was like a track that you guys did together before at least the world knew what Trine was. So how did you two kind of link up? How did that, and then how did it become
Me and Angel?
the Trinity? Yeah.
Angel and I met at the march. She has a picture of us there with her son, but I don't remember. And then at Gathering, I was with Laura, and we were trying to go get food, and like people start noticing me. It was the Indiana Gathering, and people start noticing me, and they'll start talking. And Laura was like getting annoyed by it because we couldn't do anything, without me getting in conversations with people. But I'm just friendly, And so we were trying to go get food, and we walked by this campsite next to ours, and Inanna and one of our friends, mutual friends, was sitting with her, and she's like, "Hey, girl, Becky, whatever, come here." And Laura's like, "No, come on, we literally just left and said we weren't going to do this. We were going to go get food." I was like, "I just got to go say hi real quick. She's with our mutual friend. I've seen this girl around. Like, I'm just going to go say hi real quick." And prior to that, Laura and I were in my trailer, and we had taken a nap. And when I woke up, my dab pen had unrolled, and all my weed oil spilt out on my pen, right? So I was really upset because I didn't know where to get another fucking dab pen at Gathering. It's kind of hard to find stuff there besides like hard stuff sometimes. It's been hard to find anything at Gathering. But anyways, I didn't know where to get a dab pen. So I go up to Inanna, and she just looks at me, and she hands me 2 brand new weed carts in the packages and goes, "I felt like you needed these."
And then you were best friends forever.
I was like, what the fuck? And then I don't really know. We just randomly started talking a little bit. I don't really know around what time. And then when Joe and I split up, I was staying at Sarah's house in hotels and stuff in Michigan until, because I didn't want to go back to Maine, but I didn't know if I wanted to stay in Michigan, so I didn't want to get a place yet. And I had put my stuff in storage, and I was I called up Angel, and I was like, "Yo," and she's like, "Come stay with me." She always said I could stay with her if I ever needed a place to go. So I hit her up, and I was like, "Can I come stay with you?" And I did. I stayed till Gathering, and we've just been besties ever since. We just feels like one of those relationships where you've known that person for years and years and years. Like you go way back, old souls. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, that's the shit. So the debut, I don't know what you want to say, what you don't want to say, but I'm going to call it the first EP from the new group Trine. It's available now. It just came out less than a month ago. 2/22/22 is the name of it because it came out on 2/22/22.
So we'll never forget.
That's right. You can find it on social streaming platforms, and it's really difficult to find. If you type Blahzay Roze in, you're not going to find it.
No, you should be able to find it now. It's Trine with a 1.
It is Trine.
Trine instead of an I, it's a 1.
TR1NE.
TR1NE. Yeah, so it should be easier because before it was Roxy had put it as the XXX, the Roman numeral ones, and we didn't realize that's what you were gonna have to type in. So she went in and she fixed it, so it should come up if you just type in TR1NE now. So
go do that. It's a banging EP, but it's
what do you think?
Short.
What do you guys think? What did everybody think?
I enjoyed it.
Give me some pointers. Give me the scoop.
I thought it was dope. I mean, that's not even me just gassing you up or anything like that. I'm usually pretty critical of music, and if somebody asks me, and if I don't like it, I just don't say anything usually. But I actually liked it.
I enjoy it. Rue hasn't heard it yet. I think it's too short. That's my opinion.
Wow, you didn't even do your homework before I came on the show.
I've been a busy man here lately.
Oh yeah,
but I like it.
He's been going through some shit.
I'm offended. We're now fighting.
Big Rue and Becky and Rue are beefing. It's the big Blase
knuckle
beef.
boxing at Gathering.
Uh-oh.
There you go.
I mean, I'll take it, but
chucking on. Gotta wear your bikini though.
It was. I thought it was a nice change to see from you, and everybody else on the project as well. I thought it was a nice change of pace, because I've only been exposed to the Blahzay. I don't know what that noise
was. What was that?
I have no idea what that noise was.
What?
There was some
we heard some kind of noise come through our system.
What are you doing over there?
No, I thought it was a real nice change of pace because it was a different side of you that we didn't get exposed to on the Blahzay Roze stuff. So I thought it was pretty dope, because it was definitely a little bit harder hitting, in my opinion.
We got strong arms, we got dancing emojis, we got fire emojis. People like it. It's dope.
Yeah.
I honestly haven't, like, normally, like, you talked about all the shit thrown at you, emotionally when Broken came out. I haven't seen one bad thing about this project at all.
I haven't either.
Nothing. Like,
it's all over Fago lovers. There's like 63 comments. Everyone's just dogging it. But
the Fago lovers comment section is always fucking.
They just don't count anymore. They just
I don't think they allow positive comments over there.
They don't.
It's the same people.
Yeah, that's actually a rule of the
It's like
forums.
all not real people. It's like all one person with multiple accounts.
I don't know, Will FM. Will FM wants to know, are we getting any more Blahzay Roze or Trine from here on out? Or is it just Trine?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to get Trine. I'm sure we'll come out with solo stuff. I mean, Blahzay Roze not dead. I'm still me. But
are you sticking to the name? I know you had talked about. So are you Tippy in Trine, or are you Blahzay?
Yeah, I'm Tippy.
Or does it matter?
Or they refer to me as Blahzay still. It's not like fucking science.
I'm actually downloading it right now. So
we just do what we want. But yeah, actually,
Roze just downloaded Trine.
Speaking of Trine, we are working on an album right now. We're going to be coming out with an album. We haven't made a date, but it's going to be probably June, July. It's going to be like 10 plus songs. The three of us, Trine. We might have a solo track each on there. Not sure if we're going to do those separate as singles or not yet.
Just in time for a summer music festival with Juggalos.
And then my birthday is on the 30th, and on the 28th,
happy birthday.
We are all from Kentucky, West Virginia, and Louisiana flying to Detroit to film a music video for Boss Bitches.
Ooh.
Oh, shit. First ever Trine music video coming soon.
Trine music video.
Oh, shit.
Boss Bitches. And don't forget, we got merch and stuff. You can go to trine.com.
Is that TR1NE.com?
I don't know. TRINE.
Just find it. There's merch. That's a good idea. Let's see, Will FM. What you said, Blahzay's not dead. Not dead should be the name of the Blahzay Roze album.
I'm not dead.
I ain't dead.
Not dead yet.
Hey, Pasta said he
I'm
would
still
appreciate
alive.
a Blahzay and Snow the Product collab. That'd be dope.
I'm still alive. I'm not dead.
I'm alive, but I'm dead inside.
One big room.
Yes, that was
full of
dope.
bad bitches.
Fuck yeah, man. I love it. But I love the record, and I'm just hyped for new Blahzay music in general, because this.
Now he want to fuck because I'm a rich bitch. Set him number 1 on his wish list. Bitch, you better get this. I am not his side bitch or his mistress. I'm a fucking gift bitch. You can call me Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right, Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Well, happy birthday, Merry Christmas.
Happy birthday. Happy Christmas.
We're gonna have to make a post that says Happy birthday,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas in 16 days. That'd be fun.
Yeah, so I'm excited for this music video. It's the first one I've done in a while.
Fuck yeah. I'm hoping with getting in studio with the girls and recording the Trine music and doing music videos, it'll get your artistic juices flowing again, and we don't have to wait another 10 years.
Oh, it has been. I can't wait till you guys hear some of this stuff. Here, you want to hear a little sample of something new?
Absolutely.
All right, here. Don't tell the girls.
All right.
Okay, I won't.
Hold on, let me find it.
Everybody shh.
Don't tell them.
Everybody. Hold on, let me find the right song. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. My bad. Hold on, everybody. Hold on, I'm new at this. All right. Oh, hold on. I gotta turn you guys down first in the background.
That. Thank you.
Let's pause this. There we go. All right, here we go. Ready?
Yes.
Go.
Hold on. Ready?
Okay.
Tell me if you can hear it. Ready?
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
That was it? That's all we got? Dang.
That's what you get.
It took you longer to set that up.
No.
Just rap for us. Just rap.
I was getting flashbacks to when we had what's his name on. He's like, well, he's like putting all the fucking 8 tracks.
Oh, fucking Danny Kaye.
Yeah, Dan. I was getting flashbacks. Well, I gotta find the track. Here's the tape, and
Oh my god, that shit was crazy. You want to go way back?
You want to go way?
Shout out to Danny Kaye.
Yeah,
that shit was fire.
Let's see. Maybe I got something in here that I'm not using that I can rap to you guys. Let me see. Got this.
Right.
This one was called "Eat It." This actually has a line. The bar at the end was to diss to Roxy. All right, ready?
Yes. Go.
All right. They say I don't rap, but other people do it for me. Well, I'ma call they bluff. Yeah, they making up stories. I write my own shit every day, all day, and they could suck my fat dick till they blue in the face. They try to make me fail with they stay last comments, but for real, they look like bitches. It's a pretty little bonnet to consume with the others, to be honest. But I'll never buckle under pressure, that's a promise. And I ain't never fucking leaving, now I'm here to stay. And all the fucking haters better move about my way before I make you eat up all your words like a souffle. You chose to pick a game that you do not know how to play. And I am not your base, so shut your lips before you speak it. Wrote a diss track, give a fuck, you can keep it. Never wrote one back, just assumed I would have freaked it. Why no one know your name, bitch? Is it a secret?
Ooh, shit.
Tell them.
Get him.
Get them. Hell
Get
yeah.
'em.
That's what's up. Well, that's the shit, man. I'm so hyped. Blase Roze is back, 2022. The new EP from Trine is out now. More new music coming. Music videos. Live performances, possibly. Hopefully Trine will get on the road. Gatherings coming up. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like this go around is going to be a lot better than the first go around.
Fuck yeah, man.
Like,
I'm
you know,
hyped for it.
for you, like in your personal life and stuff like that.
We
Yeah,
did-
I don't imagine
when-
Yeah.
as much chaos.
when we had her on at Christmas, we didn't ask the question we asked everybody, did we?
I don't think we did.
All right. Well, I got one more question for you because unfortunately we're super running out of time. But
All right.
we asked all of our guests the same shit. I don't think we asked you at Christmas because it was just kind of a fun
I can't
thing.
remember the last time.
If we did, maybe we did. I don't know. But essentially, you
think
got
we
three records you could not live without. Maybe they inspire you as an artist. They inspire you as a person. Maybe it's the one you listen to in your car when you're crying. The one you punch the wall to. The one that you scream to let loose. Whatever.
Three of them?
3 albums you could not live without.
Oh, let's see. Oh God, really? We don't even have time right now. I got to come up with these on the spot.
Yes, that's the whole
Three
point.
only-
Yeah, she's trying to keep the
Only
time.
fucking 3? Okay, hold on. I might be able to give you one.
Jesus.
I'll give you Cage, Kill the Architect.
Dope.
Shit, I haven't really been obsessed.
Doesn't have to be
With
right
much
now. Just your
music.
whole life.
Oh, in my whole life, yeah, Cage, Kill the Architect. In my whole life, I never really listened to full albums. I always just listened to songs.
Well, what's the
But Cage
song?
is like the only artist that I've ever. Cage and ICP are like the only artists that I've actually listened to full albums on.
What's the song then? Something's coming to your head. Something came to your head immediately. What is it?
No, nothing's
You're
come in
lying.
my
You're
head
being-
immediately.
It's fucking instinct.
Everything,
No strings
everything on
attached.
Kill the Architect. Everything that Cage does. Kill the Architect. Fuck this game. You were the shit. Precipice. Let's see. I always loved the Cisco song and the
The song
Dancing
song?
Queen. That was
Oh, yeah,
always one of my
Dancing
ones as a
Queen.
little
Fuck
kid.
yeah.
So that's my little kid one.
That 90s
That's my little kid
Dancing
one.
Queen. Fuck yeah.
That's my kid age one.
Hell yeah.
A couple years ago would be Cage, Kill the Architect album. And then now would probably be fucking like Doja Cat. Anything by Doja Cat right now. 'cause
Dancing
I'm
Queen. What
loving.
if Doja Cat covered Dancing Queen?
Bitch, I go move.
Did she really?
No, I don't. I'm
No.
saying what if.
Oh my God, fuck you. I was about to go look it up right now.
She's too busy doing contractual obligation
Not
posts
yet.
for Taco Bell.
There you go. Hell yeah. Well, Bex, unfortunately, we're
Everybody
we're out of
that
time.
needs to go listen to Cage right now. I'm gonna put it at Kill.
After you listen to
the-
Trine.
How do you spell architect?
September
14th.
ARCHITECT, architect.
Yeah, I don't know.
That looks right.
Didn't Dancing Queen cover Doja Cat? They may have.
Shout out to
I just
Blase
read
Rose
that
in
too.
the chat.
Didn't Dancing
Oh,
Queen
hell yeah.
cover Doja Cat?
What's up, Blase Rose in the chat?
Yes, actually.
Hell yeah. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us again. Hopefully, I know you said you guys are working on a new project, so next time we'll have to get to know the rest of the crew, man. Roxy and
Yeah, I would love for you to have them on next time. Yeah, I would love for the three of us to be on, but it's hard to control us all. We all be yelling.
well, we'll have to
You don't say.
We'll have to start earlier next time, and hopefully you guys don't just like attack us. That's really
We'll print out the Jerry Springer script for next time.
Nice and shit. Hell yeah. But yeah, it was an informative evening. Hopefully people enjoy it, and I can't wait to see what happens next in the Blase Rose journey of positivity.
The Blase saga.
Well, the end of the Blase Rose saga will end up with me dying someday, whether it be of old age or something else.
No, it won't.
We haven't gotten to that part of the story.
Legacy will continue.
We haven't gotten to that part of the story
yet. It ends for everybody.
Wicked roses never die.
There you go.
Takes 3 years for a lotus to bloom or whatever.
Yeah.
I love you
whatever
guys.
Blase said.
Whatever that was. Happy birthday, Merry Christmas.
Happy birthday, Christmas.
All right, y'all. If you guys are tuned in next
Thank
week on the
you,
show, we got the homie B-Vine from Shrunken Head Entertainment. He's going to be kicking with us, just so you guys know, because I like to tell you who we have next. And, yeah, we're literally out of time. So much love to Blase. Much love to everybody that tuned in. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Much love.
Any last words, any shout outs, anything that we didn't get? I know we got to a lot, but we missed a lot. Anything you wanted to say that we didn't get to, or shout outs or anything like that?
No, I think we covered it. I'm not even going to have to go see my therapist this week.
There you go.
I did feel like it was we had a couch in here. You know,
that's what we're here
like
for.
A therapy session.
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
Not that kind of couch, though, you know.
No, not the casting couch. That's date 2.
This is date 2.
That's date 2. This is date 2.
Fuck. This is it. All right, we'll see you in a little bit.
All right.
All right, y'all. Good night, everybody else. Hell yeah. Much love, Blase, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.